to all our lovely listeners of GhanaTalks Radio. It's a beautiful brand new day and I hope you are excited because today is Thursday and it's getting to the weekend. I am excited getting to the weekend and I hope you are too. This is GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. It's another day for us to give you insights, stories and issues that matter to us every morning. I am your host, Esinam. Stay tuned and stay connected as we bring you all the facts and stories that matters every morning. We are your morning companion on the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. And I'm here in the studio with Regina Bless and Debbie Miss Ochara, also my friend, and Miss Regina Bless. And Regina now, Regina. Ish. Miss Regina Bless.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
I'm good. What of you?
I'm doing good. Miss Debbie.
I'm fine.
How are you feeling this morning?
Yeah, I'm having mixed feeling right now.
Wow.
I'm feeling excited and the other way too. I'm not too well.
Do you mind sharing with us why?
She minds.
Come again.
Do you mind sharing with us why you are feeling?
Yes, I'm not feeling too well because it seems what is going off late in the country is a headache to me.
Wow.
Yes.
That's loyal.
Patriotic
citizen.
Okay. That's a view from a concerned citizen of Ghana. So if you're not worried this morning, then I don't know what kind of citizen you are.
Yeah.
We've seen a lot of trending stories online and then in the news as well. And I must say some are nothing to speak home about. So let's move on to the newspaper. So on to our next story. Hastings slowly, Attorney General to critics tagging Mahama as a clearing agent. The Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Dr. Dominic Ayeni, has cautioned critics against Hastings tagging President John Mahama as a clearing agent. He asked the critics to hasten slowly, noting that his office operates independently. I am not under any instructions or pressure to discontinue any case or to bring charges against anyone. Those who are in a haste to tag the president as a clearing agent should hasten slowly because he is not responsible for prosecutions and has not directed me to drop any case. These are his words. He also explained that he consulted widely and reviewed the files diligently before deciding on each of the 7 cases that were discontinued. I quite remember when the Akufo-Addo administration was in power. We had in the news and on platform that the Akufo-Addo was a clearing agent, and now people are in a hurry, are quick to judge President John Mahama as a clearing agent as well. What do you make of that?
I think the first administration, Akufo-Addo and Bawumia's administration, I feel they were clearing, should I say, corrupt people, not in a positive way, but I say, so that say, they would not be affected.
Okay.
And looking at Mahama's own, as OSP said, Mahama has no hand in it. OSP, Office of the Special Prosecutor, is a different ministry, it's a different department on its own. It runs on its own. So I don't know why people are tagging President Mahama as a clearing agent. As a clearing agent, so you say, or more would say, pots. No more clearing, Yamana.
Well, someone said Mahama is now clearing looters.
Clearing what?
Looters. People are looting the state. Yes.
So
Operation Recover.
Is that a good thing?
Operation Recover or Loot. So they are saying instead of him recovering the loot of the country, he's now clearing the loot. But it's not like that. I feel like if someone is being cleared, it means maybe the person has been investigated. What the person is doing, they have gone through it, and they know that the person is free from corruption or whatever it takes. Maybe we sitting here, we can actually, with our own views and perception, we can judge the person from afar that this person is corrupt. But then when thorough investigation is being taken through the works of the person, the number of years the person has been in office, when the hard work or what the person has done has been passed through due process, maybe it came out that he's safe from corruption, or he never indulged himself into corruption. So if such people are cleared, I'm not sure. I know the president is there for the will of the people, so I'm not sure he would do something contrary to that. And so if they have cleared someone, then I think that maybe the person is free from corruption or whatever it is, because you cannot clear someone without.
I would agree with you on some parts, but the government needs to be transparent to us. So if you've cleared someone of any corruption, the person is now fine, there is no debt on the person, you should come out. As you said, we might be seeing, or we might be thinking this person is corrupt. We already have that perception, if you get me. So as the president or as government on its own, you have to be transparent to your people. Oh, this is what we did, this is how we investigated this person, this was the outcome, this is the results, this is the verdict of the person's issue. The person is devoid of any allegations. Now you who say, oh, this person on already and who song. Now yes, we have two dreams. Then we move on to the next person.
But I think the president do hold something like that. Or okay, so let's take what happened yesterday when the special prosecutor came out with kind of a Riata's issue. With that one, for a long time, we ourselves have this kind of this kind of thought that there is something fishy going on in the finance ministry. And so he coming out to say something like that, we already know that, okay, fine, so now we know that what we have been thinking is actually true, because there is really something going on there, but it seems like they don't want to come and tell us this is what is going on. So I feel like maybe the person they've cleared is not something that is really, solid, or something that even if they come to say to get somewhere for us to know. But I feel like the people that have really milked from the state to the extent that won't cry into minje.
Okay, so these are some of the court cases that didn't provide enough evidence. So they didn't see why those cases should be in court. So they just had to discontinue or even clear them.
Okay, that is understandable.
That is understandable, because without evidence, how do you expect me to judge a case? Okay, so let's move on to our next headline. President Mahama orders NIB to investigate 81,000 suspected NSS ghost names. President John Dramani Mahama has directed the National Investigations Bureau to immediately conduct an investigation into the operations of the National Service Authority following the discovery of 81,885 suspected ghost names on its payroll. When I saw this, I was very sad. Because if indeed 81,000 suspected ghost names are in the system, imagine the amount of money you'll be cashing out every month from this 81,000 names every month. And then national service is for how many duration? It's for 11 months. It's for 12 months. Some people go for 11 months. So you can imagine the amount of money these people are milking from the state. And I must say it's very bad.
and there's nothing to talk home about. Miss Regina, what do you have to say with what do you have to make with this?
I say so one day dear abayedwan yini na ye baby. The politics no you all enter. Me if you are amateur, and him there was here some. Because the rate at which I don't know if Sister Debbie was the one who said it would be very hard for Ghana to come out of corruption. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, it would be very hard for Ghana to come out of corruption.
Well,
because
can come out.
No,
corruption.
Okay, let's take it like this. The government is willing to combat corruption, but what of the people beneath the government? Are they willing to cooperate? You see, when Mahama came into power, people were like, now that Mahama is in power, we the concerned citizens or Ghana as a whole should put up a habit which would favor Mahama, which would make sure Mahama's government is, should I say, free and fair and all that. But now see what some NDC supporters were doing.
Yeah.
Raiding government properties, destroying government properties, locking down government properties, all in the names of Mabayabaso. So with this 81,000 suspected NSS ghost names, DA, this time I think last year they talked about it. Last 2 years a case was on it. We should forget. Every day there will be ghost names. Every day there will be ghost names. Because 81,000 is not a small amount of money.
Yeah, that's huge.
Maybe your next topic and so we would sit somewhere and say there is no money in Ghana. By lie there is money.
Yes.
So no kind.
Miss Debbie.
Yeah. It's funny, but it's not funny. This is a very critical issue that needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
With our might and with everything possible, because it's very sad, very, very sad. In a country where we complain that there is no money, we go in for arms, we are beyond aid and a lot of stuff, but then this money is actually moving straight into one person pocket. One person, you see, I'll be delving more into this. I don't want to go deeper, but trust me, it's very bad. Because not only NSS personnel, even in government institutions, they pay people who do not exist in the office. And so let's just take SIC, the woman who just stepped down. Let's take, just imagine she's taking 7,000 a month, and let's imagine that there is 2 people in that office who does not even exist, and they are also taking that same amount of money. So where is the money going to? Into whose pocket is the money going to? That's the question we should be asking ourselves. And it's a pity. It's a pity because we stand to fight corruption every day. We come out to speak big English about corruption, but we don't do it. We go out to learn. So sometimes I ask myself, our leaders who travel, what do they learn outside? Because when you go out to learn, you are coming back to impact. So are you telling me you are out there to learn how to loot more from your people, and then come back and then speak big English to us, and at the end of the day then you'll be stealing from us again? I don't want to talk much, or I'll say what I'm supposed to say from my distance.
I think it all boils down to the leader. If the leader is living an exemplary life,
you see,
I think the followers will also follow.
See, she said something. Mahama's vision was to become a president of this country. Yes, he has actually achieved his aim. Now, as a leader, you don't, even in a corporate institution where we are right now, they said Adwin Bako, Eti Bako Nyansa for team. So when you are together, I might have an idea Regina don't have. I might be doing something, Regina will feel like, oh no, Deborah, what you're doing is wrong. And my dream call, she might give me an idea and I'll be like, oh wow, if I should add this to what I know already, it will profit me. You see it. So Mahama can't work alone. That's why he has his ministers, he has members of parliament. He has even appointed people that will work with him. Mahama cannot be working every day from here to Volta region, from here to Northern region, from here to Ashanti region. Then he's still the AMA boss. Like, he can't do that alone. Yeah. So he will meet with his people and then bring out his ideas. This is my aim. This is my vision. This is what I want the country Ghana. This is what I want us to achieve as a country. And so you are to help him to fulfill his aim. Yeah. The managers of this institution, they have aim, they have goals, but we have to help them for their aim to come to pass. Do you get it? Yeah. So Mahama has a vision, but he can't do it alone. Yeah. So if he is fighting corruption, let's say 100%, 100 people, how do you think one person will fight corruption and he can conquer corruption? Out of 100 people, 99 of them are corrupt, and you are the only person that is not corrupt, and you think you can fight corruption? Because anything you come to say is nonsense to me.
Yeah. Okay, so you see, with regards to President John Mahama, you see how he's cooking, in quotes, you see how he's cooking, and he's doing everything in his power that those that have stolen from the coffers of the state are brought to book. I think if that's his perception, if that is his mindset, and he's working so hard towards it, don't you think, even if you are corrupted, your mind will be changed towards it, because you believe that you would even be caught?
See, I know former president, His Excellency Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo, never had that perception that he will come to government, then at the end of the day his government will be tarnished with some sort of image. No. Because when he came, he made promises. Yeah. He said one constituency, 1 million.
And did he fulfill that?
Let me land. One constituency, 1 million, right? One village, I don't know whether you have the dam. I can only see a hole at my place. Then one district, one factory. That was his aim. That was his vision. And then they sat down and then they planned it. But that is why even with the one district, one factory, they still appointed someone that will be in charge of that. And so when you come to me and I allocate fund for that particular project, you don't have them. The president don't take the money. The money is being transferred into the coffers of that ministry. Yeah. So when I transfer the money there and you don't use it.
But don't you think he has people in, like, leaders to overseas whatever?
They are not being truthful to him.
Also corrupt.
They are not being truthful. You see, the downfall of the NPP government was his people.
Yeah. Okay. With the director who was employed to see the development of Keta ports, up till now, since 2019, up till now, there's nothing there. But I believe, and I know deep within me, because the Holy Spirit has spoken to me, definitely he would be receiving his monthly salary. Because why would you?
Even with the without even the pot,
yes.
Yeah.
So this all boils down to corruption.
Yes. So if the NDC government will succeed, it wouldn't be only Mahama. His appointees are also part. Because wherever they go, they send your image. Yeah. They go in the name of Mahama. Yes. So former President Akufo-Addo, wherever his ministers or his appointees go, they go in the image of President Akufo-Addo. So when I give you a mandate and you go and you don't do it, then you come back and you are bringing me false reports. How do I know? You see,
we have problem. We have a very big problem as a country that we need to deal with.
So it works hand in hand.
Yeah,
it's not just the leader,
no,
but includes the followers as well.
Yes.
Thank you for that submission, Ms. Debbie. So on to our next. Raiding of Ken Oforete's home must be condemned. Minority leader Alexander Afenyo-Markin has called for strong condemnation after Ken Oforete's home was allegedly raided by state security operatives, arguing that the action was unconstitutional. He criticized the action, saying it was unlawful and a clear breach of the Constitution. These are his words. If you invade someone's home without lawful authority, you are violating Article 18 of the Constitution, which protects that right. He said there was no legal basis for this raid and it is entirely unconstitutional. What do you make of that, Miss Debbie?
Yeah, it's true, because yesterday when the special prosecutor was actually giving a speech about the corruption that was entitled to the former minister Ken Ofori-Atta, he made a statement that those who raided the house of the former minister, if they were to if they were sent from the office of the special prosecutor, they would have a tag. Then he showed it. It's in the form of something like gold or something. It's just like the way the police, they have this. You can be wearing the police uniform, but there is nothing. They have a badge or logo or something that shows that. Even as journalists, we have tag. Because when you are going out and you don't have, sometimes you go to interview people and you tell them you are from this media house, and they'll ask you, where is your tag? So you just have to show them, to prove. But they were not having anything like that. So you could see, for me, I believe it's something that was actually, should I say something that was set? It was a setup or something. Yeah. Because you cannot. It was staged. Yes, it was a setup or something just to. I don't know why they are doing that, and I don't know why for that long time it is now. And I feel like they know the special prosecutor will come out to say something of that sort yesterday. That's why they went to raid the house. But trust me, even with that, we will still fish them out and they will face the law.
So you think they did that to make it look as if it was from the office of the special prosecutor?
In a way, yes. In a way, no. Because in a way, yes. In a way, no. Because I can't sit here and judge. The people needs to be investigated. Their faces were out yesterday. So I think they should go after them, and then they should investigate them and then know their reason. Because I cannot just stand up and then go to your house. I cannot just stand up and then go to your straight into your room without your permission. No. It means even when you see me in your room, the first question that will come into your mind, why is she a thief? But it is only thieves that do that. They don't ask your permission, then straight into your room as if what is there belongs to them, or they've been given that permission. And so I feel like maybe someone is behind that, because you cannot just stand up. And then when they are being caught, they should make them face the law. Because one, even if they are not military personnel, the question we should be asking, where did they get the uniform from? The military uniform they were wearing, where did they get it from? And then how did they access the former minister's house? Because these people, these big leaders we know here, to access their house is not that easy. I mean, they have security people around the house, and the whole also you will need to be like thoroughly investigate or like ask questions before you be even allowed into their premises. Sometimes when you're walking just behind the house, they see you to be like there's something like question mark. By you getting the opportunity to like stage the house, I mean, are you a security personnel that have been deployed to come and ensure his safety? The person is not even in the country. So why are you there? That should be the question. Why are you there? I feel someone is behind that. And if someone is behind that, they shouldn't let this case lie. They should go an extra mile to find out who is behind that and their reason for staging the house. Yes.
But before you even go to raid somebody's house, or even a security officer will go into your house, they show a warrant.
Yeah.
They show you a warrant telling you that this is the reason we are coming to search or maybe raid your house. So kindly permit us. But with this one, it looked like unconcerned.
No, that's what I'm saying. That it's like something that they've the way like something that they've planned. Yeah, something that they've planned to do. But even a normal, like an ordinary Ghanaian that is like a bit, I mean, rich or something, going to that person's house, you have to pass through, like, you sometimes the security man will ask you, do you really know this person? Are you sure? How close are you to the person? How well do you know the person? They'll even ask you to call the person to, like, hello, please, I'm at your gate. They said I shouldn't come in. That's when maybe the person might come out and say, oh yeah, I actually asked her to come in. Or but this one, so the whole issue is something. There is a question mark.
He's not even just a common person. This is the Minister of Finance.
You see, so there is a question mark.
Finance doesn't have
Security. You see, that's what I'm saying. That it's a planned something. So will you tell me that the security man at the gate was sleeping, or they pointed the gun at him? It's a plant. You see, we are in this country, nothing surprises us anymore.
Their door is just in Tabodan that they can break it.
So do you think the actions of those to those people who, the unknown men who raided Ken Oforiatta's home, do you think it should be condemned, as Afenyo Markins is saying? Regina?
It should. Sister Debbie, you know, I was actually looking for an article to not an article as in a story writing, but in the Constitution, where it states that unlawful possession of government money. I was looking for that to support my claim, but I'm not getting it. He said in article whatever
Article 18 of the Constitution,
it's wrong to invade someone's home, and it's also wrong as a minister to have government money in your possession.
That hasn't been confirmed yet, Miss Regina. That hasn't been confirmed yet. But several cases has been pinned on him that he's a suspect, and then he has been declared wanted.
He's a high suspect. He has
been declared wanted. So please.
But your question again.
Do you think it should be condemned?
Oh yes.
With what Afenyo Markins is saying.
Yeah, true. With that I would support him,
because you're infringing on my rights.
Yes, exactly. And people and the military men or whatsoever they call themselves, who were captured on camera, I feel since their faces have shown, they should
be questioned.
Yes, not arrested and questioned.
They should be
because without, as he said, without lawful authority or any such warrant, you can't just barge into my home uninvited and start what exactly are you looking for? So with his actions or with their actions needed, they should be arrested.
But to the special prosecutor saying that
it was staged.
No, but he came out again to say he's wanted.
Yeah.
Due to some cases he has been pinned to.
A declared fugitive.
But in Parliament, Afenyo was saying that Ken Oforiatta has released a letter or has informed the House that he's going on a medical leave or something.
Listen,
to seek for medical help.
When you have an issue with courts, you do not go to the police to leave a letter saying that this is so and so I want to leave. You have to see the courts, either Supreme Court, High Court, whatever. You have to see the one in charge. Nipa Odiwa Semino.
Okay.
That's the only person who has the right to give you permission to actually leave. But to me, let me use this institution as an example. If I'm not well, I wouldn't go to DJ Rock, DJ Q, or DJ Cham to say that, oh, DJs, I'm not well, so I wouldn't be coming to work. I have to pass the right channel, which is manager of GTR. He's the only right channel I'm supposed to pass. So he's saying that Ken Oforiatta left a letter to the House. Is the House the one doing Asemno? Is the OSP?
He has been declared as a fugitive.
Yes, and OSP has the right to do his work, and no one has that right or authority to question his decisions.
Yeah. Okay. So on to our next headline. CFA to train security officers under Safe Stadium Initiative. The Ghana Football Association and the Confederation of the African Football are set to train security officers as part of safety measures to be implemented at the various stadiums. I think this is a good cause.
It is, but it's not done. Because you do not wait for something bad to happen before you take the needed steps. Someone has to lose his or her life first before, excuse me to say, you get the medulla oblongata to do the right thing. The security personnel has a question mark.
It's like we always have to wait for. We always want something bad to happen before we take the needed precautions, which I think is very bad. Like in every sector,
especially roads,
especially the roads. Even when it has to do with our traffic lights, we want somebody to die. You see the person's blood on the floor before you.
With the traffic light, you are just saying, school junction.
Yes. How was she school junction?
How many of people died? How many people? How many people died before that thing was done?
Fixed? Miss Debbie.
You see, that's why earlier when I said we have a big problem in this country, and our the problem or the sickness we are all suffering from does not have a medicine. It doesn't, because if it does have a medicine, I'm sure by now we should be healed. We should be healed and then back into our normal state of living. But no, we have a very big problem because we cannot wait for some, and it's like it has become part and parcel of us that we have to wait till something happens. We have to wait till someone is dead, like before we'll come and then take action, which is very bad. You see, we've been saying this over and over again, and you see, when you keep saying this, they will think that you want to tarnish the image of the government, but that's not the case. We all want the betterment of this country. If this country is good, it's good for me, it's good for you. We'll all have our peace of mind. If everything is going on well, we'll be happy. Because when you do something good, we'll praise you. When you do the bad thing, we'll also say something against it. And so they should try as much as possible that they wouldn't wait till something. What's the name? Malam Junction, the overhead. The overhead is now a pothole. It's now a pothole, and I'm sure they are still waiting for something to happen before they will take an action. Because you'll be in the car, and then those drivers that also drive recklessly, you'll be there, you'll be in the vehicle, and then krokoto, like that, and then your heart. But as you're in the vehicle, you are praying, because within a twinkle of an eye, you don't know what would have happened. So you are just pleading with them that they should do the right thing. When they do the right thing, we will say it. And when they do the wrong thing too, we will still say it. So they should just do the right thing.
Just a quick one to add to what Sister Debbie said. She made mention of Malam Junction or Malam Road being destroyed or something. I also feel one medium where we can communicate these issues is social media. So we would beg on all ministers, if so far as you're in power, and either road minister, sanitation minister, whatever, you people should always check your handles, because definitely there are a lot of tags. People are always tagging you to a situation. You cannot sit somewhere at one particular place and see what is going on. We are also the mouthpiece for you. So whatever we see, we tag you. Make sure you work on it. But they will rather choose to ignore.
Is it like the incident of a student that has to be using log, working on the log? So is the member of parliament or the assemblyman for that area trying to say that he had no idea that the students struggled to access education? It was after the video. As I said, our problem is too big. I don't want to tag with any sickness or any name, but we have a problem, and before we will get healed, it will take the grace of God.
I think it all, like I always say, it always boils to the individual. So it starts from the society before you take it to the bigger stage. So if you are living in the society and then you are not doing the needed action, or you are not doing the rightful thing, and then you go out there, how do you expect to work better? And this is not only for the Ghana Football Association, but it should be for every sector in terms of security. Please be on guard and put in the necessary measures that need to be put in place to secure the lives of people. Thank you so much, my ladies, for your contribution. This is still the GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. You can join us on all our social media platforms in our conversations. X at GhanaTalks Radio, Instagram at GhanaTalks Radio, TikTok at GhanaTalks Radio, YouTube at GhanaTalks Radio. Thank you so much for joining us for today's newspaper review. Up next, we have the Debbie's Corner.
On Debbie's Corner. On this show, we expose state concerns and analyze it without politics, fear, or favor. Now, every day we've been talking about corruption. Every minute we'll be talking about corruption. Each and every day, within a twinkle of an eye, we talk about corruption. But then I want us to ask ourselves these questions. I want us to think about this question. Into whose pocket is the state money? Into whose pocket is our money going to? I want us to ask ourselves this question. Into whose pocket is our money going to? Who is responsible for corruption in this country? Can we get one person to tag the person of corruption in this country? Who is responsible for corruption in this country? Are we to be blamed for the level of corruption we find ourselves as it stands now? Just ask yourself this question. Should we blame ourselves for the level of corruption that we find ourselves today? And then why do we overspend at the expense of the ordinary Ghanaian or at the expense of the taxpayer? Why am I asking all this question? Now, let me take you through something that happened yesterday. You see, I always say, and I'll continue to say, that we have a problem as a country. Now, before I start, let's just read this. Because yesterday I was having an argument with a colleague. He was like, no, I don't understand. So I know he's watching and I want him to understand this. President Mahama orders probe to National Service Authority ghost name scandal. So yesterday, President John Dramani Mahama has ordered the National Investigation Bureau to conduct immediate investigation into the operation of the National Service Authority. So all this boils down to we having names that do not exist on the list of the National Service personnel, and they are being paid money each and every month. You see, so this was why I was asking, into whose pocket is the country's money going to? Into whose pocket is the state money going to? Into whose pocket is the National Service personnel's money going to? It's not funny. It's not funny at all. And then you see an amount of this amount is too huge for me. An amount of 226,019,224. This is the amount that is supposed to be paid for, I mean, all NSS personnel across the country or in the country Ghana. And then the number of people or the number of names that have been submitted to the government to be paid every month is 180,030. 180,030. I don't know whether I'm correct or wrong. 180,030. These are the number of people that are supposed to be paid every month. But it has turned out to be that instead of 180 people being paid every month, they are now paying 81,885 people in a month. So when you subtract 180 from 81,885, it means we are paying Ghost name. We are paying people amounting to 80,000 with some numbers behind. So where are the people? Are they the NSS personnel themselves, or they are our leaders? They are our leaders in sheep clothes, or they are our leaders regarding themselves to be NSS personnel that are actually taking this money into their own pocket. Maybe you've forgotten, in 2022, then times the NSS personnel were being paid 500 cedis. They came out to demonstrate. For increments in their salary, and it became a whole lot. It actually became a whole lot in this country, to the extent that there was an expose that needs to be out concerning how the NSL's personnel's money that they are supposed to be paid every month is being buttressed with corruption and staffs. And then in a bid to uncover the corruption and mismanagement within the National Service Authority, the Fourth Estate was set to release an expose on December 3rd, 2024. That was last year. But hours before the publication, the National Service Authority filed for and obtained a 10-day court injunction to prevent the publication. Why are they preventing the publication? It means since then to now, there is something fishy that has been hid from the public for a long time. It means they know what they are doing. And then the court order, which was served by a bailiff to the Media Foundation for West Africa, the organization behind the Fourth Estate, prohibited the media outlets from publishing the content until the National Service Authority side of the matter was heard. You see, the reason why I say we have a problem as a country, and our problem is very huge. In fact, we are all sick. We are facing some kind of disease that only it will take the intervention of God to save us from it. And you know what that disease is? It's corruption. It's corruption. We are being paid, or we are paying people that do not exist. And then last year, I can't remember last year, somewhere November, NSS personnel came out to demonstrate because their monies were being withheld. They've worked and then they are not being paid. And it took the grace of God for them to, even with that, the previous month that they are not being paid, the money wasn't given to them. It was after they came on to demonstrate and then say a lot of things, that was when the government decided to hear their plea. What is going on? Is this how is this how we want the country to be? It is very, very serious. Not only NSS personnel, but even some government institutions, people who do not exist are being paid huge sum of money. And then at the end of the day, they will come out to tell us that there is no money in the state coffers, so they are going for IMF bailout. And then when they go in for the IMF bailout and the money is in, we don't know where the money goes to. But then we see people flying with jets. We see our leaders enjoying, and then the taxpayers, we are suffering. But we pay tax each and every day. Even on pure water, we pay tax. You will be surprised to know that even on chewing gum, we pay tax. But we don't see the benefit of the tax we are paying. No, we don't. The money is being pushed into one person's pocket. The money is being located into the coffers of one person. And we sit down and then we joke and then we think we are progressing as a country. We are jokers. In fact, we are joking. We are joking. And then we are suffering. Each and every day you want us to come out and demonstrate. Each and every day you want us to say something. And you see, the world is watching us. That's the most painful aspect. The world is watching us. They are watching each and every step and everything we do. We pay tax. We pay dues. We pay taxes that do not even make sense. We pay a lot of taxes that do not even make sense. Because if you sit down to calculate, can you just imagine someone who is working for the government is paying taxes, and then at the end of the day, the money that comes into your account, you are even wondering, you've not even used the money for anything, but the money is gone. You open your account and then the money is gone, and then you don't know where the money is heading to. But I know there is money in this country. If there is no money in this country, we wouldn't have, noticed or come across a container that was actually going to be, a container full of money, a container full of cash, dollars and stuffs. There is money in the country, but it seems one person is actually enjoying the whole money. And it's about time such things or such issues needs to come to an end. Because we cannot be in a country where we pay taxes every day and then we don't see anything. And when it comes to NSL service, and there is a whole thing that needs to be done when it comes to this NSS thing, this thing package called NSS. There is a whole lot to be done on it. So we just need to be careful. Our leaders, and the current managing director that has been appointed recently says the money, the NSS do not receive their money because of corruption. Who is the mother serpent of corruption in this country? We want to know the person, and if we see the person must face the law. So I was happy when I see the office of the special prosecutor yesterday coming out mentioning the former finance minister and some alleged cases that we think has actually drained the finances of this country. And you see, I was happy because when you see the facial expression of the office of the special prosecutor, you could see that there was some sort of confidence in saying that. So some people are still milking from the state back doors, and I don't want this to end. We don't want a case where they'll fish the people out and then at the end of the day we don't know what happens, because it's very common in this country. Very, very common. We are good at that. In fact, I'll clap hands for us, because we can actually see someone, point out the person and then investigate the matter, and then at the end of the day we don't even know what happens. Then you come out and be speaking big English. We are tired of the big English. We don't want to even hear it again. The vocabs, yes, we know you've gone ahead, you've learned, and then you know the vocabs and the words to say to convince us and stuff. But we've woken up from our slumber. We are no longer sleeping. And so we are telling you, our leaders, NSS director be appointed. Do your work. Do it very well. Don't think because you are in government so you can do anything. Mind you, when you are out of government, you will still be held accountable. We need accountability. We want accountability and transparency to prevail in our country, Ghana. So in short, no more loot from the state. No more loot from the state, because you can't be milking from the taxpayer. In whose pocket is our money going to? Thank you for making time with me. My name is Deborah Adoso. Meet me same time tomorrow.
Thank you, Miss Debbie. We all can see this morning that Miss Debbie is on fire. Somebody say heat. Heat. You see, I watched a video yesterday. And the person was saying that with this particular case, we shouldn't go to the court procedures. They should be caught and beaten. Because we are tired of going to court. There be more investigations in one. That was Debbie's corner. You're still right here on GhanaTalks Radio, and this is your morning companion, GhanaTalks Breakfast Show. Up next, we have Today in History by Regina Bless. What do you have for us, Regina Bless?
Okay, so today in history, 2008, Australian Prime Minister Kevin wrote apology to Indigenous Australians in 2008 was a landmark moment in the country's history. So Kevin apologized for the stolen generations, a period during which between 10% to 30% of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander children were forcefully removed from their families and communities until the 1960s. This painful chapter in Australian history was marked by profound grief, suffering, and loss for the affected families and communities. The removal of children was often carried out by churches, welfare organizations, and governments, resulting in intergenerational trauma and cultural disconnection. Today in history, 2004, scientists discovered the universe's largest known diamond, a white dwarf star nicknamed Lucy, located about 50 light years from Earth. The star's nickname is a nod to the Beatles' iconic song Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. 1991, today in history. During Operation Desert Storm, 2 U.S. smart bombs struck the Amaria shelter in Baghdad, killing at least 408 civilians, mostly women and children, in one of the deadliest incidents of the Gulf War. 1945, today in history. Allied bombing raids devastate Dresden, Germany, killing an estimated 25,000 people over 3 days, leaving the city in ruins. 1974, Ruby Williams, the iconic English singer, songwriter, producer, and actor, was born on February 13th, 1974. Did you know that blue whales, the largest creatures to ever live, have hats that weigh 400 pounds, which is 640 times heavier than a human hat? And also, did you know that the original purpose of the chainsaw was not for cutting wood, but rather for use in childbirth? Invented in Scotland in the late 18th century, it was used to aid in the removal of diseased bone during delivery. It wasn't until the 20th century that chainsaws became a common tool for wood cutting. The chainsaw wasn't used to cut wood, but rather when say omo akolano and akolani tiso, so they had to tie there under there. No, they used chainsaw to cut it. That is what we mean. And also, did you know that as a gentleman, wearing a tie and necktie can reduce blood flow to the brain by 7.5%. A study in 2018 found that wearing a necktie can reduce the blood flow to your brain, which can make you feel dizzy, nauseous, and cause headaches, and can also increase the pressure in your eyes if it's too tight. So please loosen it a bit. Thank you very much for having time with me.
No, come again. Come again with your last one. Boss of you.
Means I'm boss. Okay, so wearing a necktie can reduce blood flow to the brain by 7.5%. I wouldn't be surprised. Biana, that is the reason why most gentlemen who have neck, those people know they are bad though. Because of refusal of the blood to the brain.
So they
don't think well. This is home gentility outcry.
So we are saying that
most of them, they are not gentlemen because it's too tight and the blood is not flowing well to their brains. So it affects the functionality of their brain. So that's what I say.
So Omari just got seated. Omari, what do you make of this? Is it true? You are the ones that be wearing the tie. But do you have to make it that tight? But some people, like if you see them, like how tight
very
they make.
Hey. So do you normally use it?
Good morning to you, beautiful audience, listeners this morning. I'm sad. I think that in all due respect, Regina, at least you should consider the mental health of men. What has tie got to do with how we reason as men?
I said some.
Because
please, I stand to correct.
I just got a message from someone here that is Regina referring to some of our honorables. I mean,
we beg.
I know what you are trying to do there. I wouldn't be surprised.
You see why our honorables are behaving like that in parliament?
Almost 90% of all of them, they wear neckties.
And it's affecting a time ago. I heard that as a member of parliament, you're not supposed to wear like shirt and normal shirt with jeans. Yes, they'll sack you. You have to be in suit with bow tie,
and coats.
Okay. That's their way.
Okay.
No wonder.
I'm sad. I'm speaking for all the men in the world.
Please don't be. Tomorrow is Val's Day. We beg you.
That's the more reason why I'm
we beg you. We beg. We still want the chocolates. We still want the gifts. So all men out there, on behalf of Regina, we are apologizing. We are very sorry.
I'm just educating you guys.
We are sorry. We are sorry. We are sorry.
As a spokesperson for the Boyfriend Association of Ghana, we refuse to give any woman any chocolate.
You can't do that
because our ties the reason for us to buy them any gifts.
And if no give, then tomorrow I'm not smiling to any guy in the office. Please, I ain't doing that. I'm not doing that.
How happy we would be.
Okay, that's so heartbreak. I think that's okay. That's okay. It's 8 a.m. Let's go for the news.
Hello, good morning and welcome to the Daybreak News on GhanaTalks Radio. Coming up this morning, AC to rerun Council of State elections in 2 regions February 17th. DCOP Emmanuel Teikojo is now Ashanti Regional Police Commander. Mahama, not a clearing agent. I'm responsible for all dropped cases. Ayene and 68th Independence Day celebration to be held at Jubilee House, says government. This business, sports and showbiz is coming in this morning's bulletin. The news will be read by Awentemi Akansukum. Now let's settle for the details. The Electoral Commission EC has announced a rerun of the Council of State elections for the Northeast and Ashanti regions Monday, February 17, 2025.
The decision to rerun the election in the Northeast region, according to the EC, is due to the tie between two candidates where each of them had 6 votes. However, the rerun, which will be conducted in the Ashanti region, was triggered by the chaos that erupted during the counting of the ballot, leaving the process incomplete. In a statement issued Wednesday, February 12, the EC confirmed that it has written to the Ghana Police Service and copied to the National Election Security Task Force to strengthen security at the election venue to prevent any disruptions. Now, DCOP Emmanuel Tekujo has been named the new Ashanti Regional Police Commander. He replaces DCOP Frank Abrokwa, who has been transferred to the police headquarters in Accra by police administration. His transfer was triggered by his poor management of the security during the Ashanti Regional Council of State election held at the Ashanti Regional Coordinating Council in Kumasi Tuesday, February 11. The election, which began peacefully, turned chaotic after macho men allegedly affiliated with the NDC from Obuasi disrupted the process while the sorting of ballot papers were underway. The Ashanti Regional Police Command, who led the police team to oversee the election, failed to manage the chaotic situation properly, as expected as police, resulting in his transfer to Accra. His transfer letter was sent to him immediately after the incident. DCOP Tekujo was the Central North Regional Commander before taking over from COP Frank Abrokwa. The Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amwakohini, welcomed the new Ashanti Regional Police Commander and stated that he looks forward to a strong collaboration in maintaining stability and fostering a secure environment for all within the region and the country at large. Now, Attorney General and Minister of Justice Dr. Dominic Ayine has refuted claims that President John Mahama is responsible for the discontinuation of cases involving key figures facing criminal charges. Dr. Ayine has come under scrutiny for dropping cases against officials and associates of the previous Mahama administration, including the Seglemi Housing Project, charges against current Bank of Ghana Governor Johnson Esiama, the Democracy Hub case, and the prosecution of Stephen Opuni in the Cocoa Board case. Some critics have alleged that President Mahama influenced the decision to withdraw these cases, but Dr. Ayine has firmly dismissed such allegations. Addressing the press Wednesday, February 12, he stated unequivocally that he alone takes responsibility for the decisions made by his office and rejected any suggestion of political interference. Dr. Ayine further rejected accusations that Mahama had acted as a clearing agent in the process, emphasizing the independence of his office. Dr. Ayine reiterated that all prosecutorial decisions were made based on legal merit and not political consideration. Now to some other stories. Ghana's 68th Independence Day celebration will be held at the Jubilee House, the seat of government, according to a statement by the Minister of State for Government Communications, Felix Kwachiofosu. This marks a significant departure from the traditional practice of hosting the national event at regional venues or Independence Square. Ghana's Independence Day, celebrated annually on March 6th, is a momentous occasion marked by military parades, cultural displays, and speeches from national leaders. However, Kwachiofosu, in a press conference Wednesday, February 11, indicated that the government's decision to host the national event at the Jubilee House is to streamline logistical arrangements and reduce costs associated with hosting the event, especially in other regions. The main celebration, which originally would have been taking place in Accra at the Independence Square has also become the subject of some rollback. President Mahama believes that while there is much celebration over Ghana's independence, he is also minded by the state of the economy and the various competing needs, and the fact that there are critical sectors of our national lives that have not received adequate funding. He believes that at this moment in time, there is a need to prioritize the expenditure, and one of the events where savings can be made is the Independence Day celebration. Now, moving straight to business, Ghana's economy is expected to expand by 4.2% in 2025 and 4.8% in 2026, according to the World Bank's January 2025 Global Economic Prospects Report. However, these figures remain below the pre-COVID-19 pandemic average of 5%, reflecting persistent economic challenges. The World Bank has also revised Ghana's gross domestic product growth projection for 2024 downwards to 4% from its initial 4.8% estimate in the October 2024 Africa Pulse report, which aligns with the International Monetary Fund's forecast. The World Bank cautioned that risk to Ghana's economic outlook remains skewed to the downside. Among key concerns are a sharper than expected slowdown in China, escalating geopolitical tension, particularly in the Middle East, and worsening political instability in East Africa and the Sahel. Additionally, prolonged inflationary pressure could keep global interest rates elevated, further straining highly indebted economies. The increasing frequency of extreme weather events also poses risk, with potential implications for poverty levels across sub-Saharan Africa. Meanwhile, economic growth in SSA is estimated to have improved from 2.9% in 2023 to 3.2% in 2024, though this remains a 0.3 percentage point below earlier projections due to ongoing conflict in Sudan and other country-specific challenges that hindered recovery. With these uncertainties, policymakers face mounting pressure to implement strategies that bolster economic resilience and sustain long-term growth. Now, no alcohol would be allowed at the 2034 World Cup in Saudi Arabia, says the country's ambassador to the United Kingdom. In an interview on LBC, Prince Khalid bin Bandar Al Saud said alcohol would not be sold anywhere during the tournament, including hotels. FIFA confirmed Saudi Arabia would host the Men's World Cup in 2034. At the moment, we don't allow alcohol, Prince Khalid told LBC External. Plenty of fun can be had without alcohol. It is not 100% necessary, and if you want to drink after you leave, you are welcome to, but at the moment we don't have alcohol. Asked whether that meant fans would be allowed to drink once they return to their hotels, as was the case at the 2022 World Cup in Qatar, he added, no, there is no alcohol at all. Rather, like our weather, it's a dry country. Everyone has their own culture. We are happy to accommodate people within the boundaries of our culture, but we don't want to change our culture for someone else. The issue of whether fans would be able to buy alcohol came up before the most recent World Cup in Qatar, another Muslim country in which the sale of alcohol is strictly controlled. While the initial decision to sell alcohol in stadiums was reversed 2 days before the start of the competition, supporters were able to buy it from these designated fan zones and hotel bars. Now, moving straight to some showbiz this morning, as patrons of the Vitamilk Love Night by Kobna Kobna are anticipating a great performance from him, the supporting artists for the event are also gearing up for their respective act. Apart from the high life crooner Kobna Kobna, artists like Kiddy, Famia, Olive the Boy, King Promise, Episode, and Akuvi will perform. These musicians have promised to give off their best at the concert slated for February 14, 2025 at the Grand Arena of the Accra International Conference. Kobna has told Joy FM that he would be on stage for about 2 hours to dish out an entirely new act to his lovely fans. Known for his enchanting stagecraft, he is expected to perform hit songs such as Adult Music, Fache, Afraid to Lose You, amongst others. The Vitamilk Love Night with Kobna is sponsored by Vitamilk, empowered by Image Bureau, and supported by Joy FM. And that's it with the Daybreak News on Ghana Talks Radio. Log on to www.GhanaTalksRadio.com for more of these stories. The news was read by Awentemi Akansukumasi. Thanks so much for making time. Good morning.
Good morning once again. This is the Ghana Talks breakfast show on Ghana Talks Radio, and I welcome you to our audience. It's such a great day. We thank God that we've made it to another day. Whenever God gives us a new day, we should thank Him, because we on kwa o adie. Enti yede aseda ebema irade nyankopon na no pay. This morning we will be talking about a few things that has been going on in the country. Na ayasemo ayayese edebia no adefoforo eba oman we mu, which is related to corruption. So corruption has really become something that we need to fight. But then, you know, we've seen some steps being taken by the current administration, which shows that we might actually be able to combat corruption in the coming years if the right foundations have been set. And now, AC. AC and now about for YFA and intimate Sama. Hey AC, you are really looking nice in your new braids.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and we will be fortunate to have our guests in the studios with us to have the discussion for the morning. But before that, yesterday we were supposed to speak to the Okada president of Ghana, the Okada Association.
Yeah, exactly.
Regarding the legalization of the Okada business.
Yes.
So we will be going on the phone lines very soon to speak to that man. We are glad to have our guest in the studio, Mr. Dubig Ganip Stephen. I hope I really got it right. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the Ghana Talks Radio studios.
Good morning to you, to the beautiful lady here, and to all our listeners.
Yeah, sure. I hope you are doing well. I hope you slept well. I hope the traffic wasn't so disturbing this morning.
Well, I don't stay far away from here. I stay at Awoshi, so the traffic was minimal. But as to sleeping well, coming here, you have to research. Of course, you cannot just come and sit here and then talk anyhow. You have to give the audience their credit. They are also educated. Just that we have the opportunity to sit here, and we shouldn't take them for granted. So anytime that I'm scheduled to appear on any radio program or TV program, I make sure the night before I go through the topics that I'm giving, I research, and then I sit here to talk based on fact.
That's great. all credit to our audience and listeners for making time with us this morning on Ghana Talks Radio. You can join the conversation on our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio on Facebook, on Twitter, formerly now known as X, on Instagram, and on TikTok at Ghana Talks Radio. You can also join through our website www.ghanatalksradio.com www.GhanaTalksRadio.com, or join the conversation via WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp numbers are 0202-544-614, 0202-544-614. Essie?
Yes, Omari.
There was a statement by the Ghana Education Service yesterday regarding some unscrupulous, unsupervised, undirected activity going on in some schools. I don't know if Stephen have heard of this issue, but the Ghana Education Service has released a statement. Let me see if I can read out the statement to our audience. So, this is a press release. GES caution against unauthorized BAC registration fees. The Ghana Education Service has taken notice of allegations on social media that some heads of basic schools are imposing unauthorized BAC registration fees on final year students. Management wishes to emphasize that these fees are unauthorized and all heads are advised to cease this practice immediately. Regional directors are instructed to alert district directors to monitor the situation and caution all heads of basic schools. Any head who has collected such unauthorized fees is required to refund the monies promptly. Failure to comply will result in sanctions. Heads of basic schools are reminded that late registration of candidates will not be permitted. Therefore, all eligible candidates must be registered within the stipulated registration period set by the West African Examinations Council, WAEC. The general public is informed to take note. Signed, Cassandra Chum Ampofo, Head, Public Relations Unit, GS. So, this is the issue. Some headmasters have begun taking fees which are unauthorized from the Ghana Education Service for the registration of BEC candidates. Why are we so clouded in corruption as a country? And especially from people who we elect or appoint into positions of leadership. What is the root of this? Because it's becoming a canker.
Yes, it
in
is.
any institution, in every single institution, we find heads and leaders being involved in some sort of corruption. Why? Stephen.
Am I on?
Yes, you are.
Okay. The issue about this charging of BEC and registration fees.
Yeah.
I think when we were in GSS, when we were about to write BEC, we paid something.
Sure, we do.
But now it is a government policy that students shouldn't pay anything.
Yeah.
Having that at the back of our mind, why will a headmaster decide that student, in spite of government policy, should still pay the fees?
Yeah.
That's where the problem is.
Exactly.
You need to understand what goes on in running these schools. The headmasters cannot take unilateral decisions and then ask parents to pay their fees.
Okay.
I think that there's a problem, but it's about how the headmasters approach the whole issue.
Okay.
They should bring parents on board, explain what they think the problem is to them.
Okay.
If parents decide that, okay, based on this issue, that issue, we want to support, it should be voluntary.
Okay.
if they had that engagement with parent, I'm not sure we would be having this kind of back and forth on this issue.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
But since that wasn't done, now the government is forced to step in and kind of issue a directive and then stop them. So going forward, I think that if headmasters have issues that need to be addressed by asking students to pay this kind of money, I think that they should bring all stakeholders on board, the GES directors, the circuit supervisors, PTA, now they call it PA or something, Parent Association. They've removed the T, so now it's Parent Association. So they should bring all these people on board. If they agree, if there's an agreement that, okay, since we have this challenge, we should pay something or we should contribute something, then we can. But another leg of the whole issue is government sending the money to the schools.
Yeah, because I believe if the government is sending the money, or they are just being greedy and want to milk off from the students.
I always say this, nobody is greedy when it comes to these things.
Okay.
The headmasters themselves also have children in their schools and children in other schools. So at the end of the day, the sustainability of the school is what the headmasters will think about first. They will ask themselves, how do we sustain the school? Because if the school collapses, I'm sure my child wouldn't get an opportunity to go there.
You know, I get your point. There is a problem. Where is the problem stemming from? Let's say it's from the government, who is unable to issue the required fees for the children. Do you have to, by your own discretion, demand fees from the kids, or you need to sit with the government?
Well, you need to sit with the government.
Okay.
As I indicated that it was wrong for them to take a unilateral decision and then yes, you need to sit with the stakeholders, which include the government, which include the parents, which includes the various educational institutional heads, even the CSOs. The educational CSOs should come on board, so we find a lasting solution to this thing. This thing comes up every year. Every year it's a rate occurring something. Every year this thing comes up. Every year Ghana Education Service has to issue a directive telling headmasters not to charge anything. So you should ask yourself, how do we end this canker? You get it? We cannot just sit down and say, oh, don't do it. The following year they try to do it again. Then you say, don't do it. You see, if there wasn't a problem, the headmasters wouldn't charge the money. So what is the problem? Is it that government is not sending the money? And if they are sending, is it enough? So I kind of agree with people who say that we need to take a holistic approach to our educational system. We need to relook at it again, put policies in place that will sustain the systems that we are running in our schools.
Coming to that, what do you think is the fundamental problem we have in our educational system?
Funding. Yes.
Wow.
Funding. See, when the government make a decision that parents shouldn't bear any responsibility as to their wards education, as long as the public schools are concerned, then government must also have it at the back of the mind that the monies that were going to be accrued from the children will now come from the government. So if the money is not going down, then the headmasters will be left in a precarious situation where they will have to sustain their schools. Because at the end of the day, a headmaster is also building their CVs. You get it? So, for instance, if GhanaTalks Radio is a school, and Parkwesi being the manager, at the end of the day, if the school collapses, when he writes that on his CV, apply for a new job somewhere, and then they find out that the school he was running collapsed, what happens to him?
Wow. That is an interesting but very educative scenario. So, you think that was it wrong for governments to issue these freebies when it comes to educational system? When we know that we are not in some way capable of funding it solely as a government?
You see, policies can never be wrong.
Okay.
Policies have their own negatives and positives. So at the end of the day, the government will weigh the positives of the policy and now come to say, okay, let's implement this. But the government should have it at the back of his mind that, or its mind, that there are going to be challenges. How do we rise up to the challenges and solve them? You get it?
Yeah.
So if for instance, the government had said that schools should be free, knowing very well that it will come at a cost, there should have been a sustainable funding regime that will make sure that the challenges we have will not arise in the first place. You get it? So you should have a source of funding for whatever policy you're trying to implement.
Okay.
When you don't have that funding, that's where the problem comes from.
Okay.
You get it?
Yeah.
So if the government should come up with funding, sustainable source of funding for these kind of policies in the educational sector, I think that we wouldn't have a problem. I mean, we wouldn't have to decide whether the policy was wrong or right, because it will benefit all of us.
Sure.
Yeah.
Free education is to everybody's benefit.
Yeah.
That's right.
But we should have sustainable source of funding. So before, I think that the implementation and something and that kind of thing was kind of short.
Okay.
But if they should recalculate, or we go back and recalculate their steps and look for source of funding, I'm sure that when they were introducing VAT, I don't know if you were around in the political circles at that time, there was an uproar. Ghanaians didn't understand why they should pay VAT. That resulted in Kumipreko.
Yeah.
The government withdrew the policy, added educational component to it. That's brought about Get Fund. So now Ghanaians understood that, okay, even though we are paying this amount as VAT, this percentage is going into our educational infrastructure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So if the government comes up with a levy that every Ghanaian understand that this goes into our children's education, I'm sure people will pay.
Okay.
Even e-levy we are paying. We didn't agree, but we are paying.
Yeah.
So I'm sure if it has to do with education, we will pay.
Sure. Even e-levy we are paying.
Even e-levy.
She doesn't pay e-levy.
She have paid.
Yeah, she's lying.
I've paid. Your mama should do fast and take it off.
That was a great submission by Mr. The Big Stephen. But we will be going on the phones very soon to talk to the Okada presidents.
Okay.
The Association of Okada Riders in Ghana. They are presidents.
They have a president?
They do have a president.
Already.
Now, a few days ago, I think it was on Tuesday, the Minister for Transport gave a directive or an assurance that the Okada business or Okada riding is going to be legalized. This has been something that has been in the conversation for quite a while.
Yeah.
Which we saw both political heavyweights even campaign on. One said that if I come to power, I will legalize it for you, because the other one was like, let's ban it and all that stuff. And so the Okada people were very happy with the one who said he was going to legalize it for them. So they voted for him massively, and then he came to power. He is now in power, and their minister, Joseph Bukari Nipe, has given a directive and assurance to them that he is going to legalize it for them. I think from next month. So
it's already in process. So.
It is in process. But what do you make of that, Stephen? The Okada business?
Well, I always say this: a country that has a failed transport system relies on Okada.
Okay.
But it is here.
Okay.
We understand that our...
Stephen, please, before we continue, we have the Okada president online, Mr. Kofi Michael Owusu. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
How are you doing, please?
Good morning, madam.
Yeah, this is Ghana Talks Radio. You are live on Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. Last 3 days, there was a directive or a communication from the Minister of Transport, Honorable Bukari Nipe, that the Okada riding business was going to be legalized from March 2025. How did this news come to you as an association? Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, madam.
Good morning.
Madam, I said I'm utilizing this opportunity to say a very big thanks to yourself and your listeners.
Good morning. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a very good news to all of us, especially we, the people in this business.
Okay.
And then our customers as well.
Yeah.
We are expecting it. We know that they give us these promises since 2020, and it's even captured in their manifesto.
Yeah.
And anytime His Excellency the President had opportunity during the campaign time, he always make it, even though people make mockery of him and all that, but he always says that when he comes, he have seen a lot of life in that business, and he will make sure that he will legalize it. It came to a point where he was thinking.
Hello, sir. Hello, can you hear me, sir? Hello? Hello? I think we lost Mr. Michael, so we will go back for him very soon. But he was making some interesting points.
Yeah.
Yes, so let's see if we can get him back on the line. Hello, sir. Hello, Mr. Ozu. Mr. Ozu. No, we are still finding challenges with Mr. Ozu on the phone lines. Stephen, you were making a point earlier on before.
As I was saying, I said that a country with a failed transport system relies on this Okada and then Pragya and other source of transportation.
Okay, I think we have him back on the line. Hello, Mr. Ozu.
Yes, madam.
Yeah, sorry, we were having issues with the.
Oh, okay.
But line. I am SL, not a madam.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So yes, you were making.
Yes. So what I'm trying to say is that we are so much excited.
Okay.
That His Excellency the President is a man of his words. Whatever he said, he made sure he delivered it. Okay. Like I was saying, that this government have captured us in their own manifesto when they were in opposition.
Yeah.
Anytime the president, the then Prime Bearer had opportunity on any platform, he mentioned this business. It came to a point he was even singing reggae with it that nobody can stop Okada and all that. So we were believing that he will surely deliver it. So in fact, it was a great news to all of us. So we are only waiting for the minister to invite the appropriate body, to invite the leadership, that we all sit down together. We are not going to depend on people in different institutions or whatever, or those who don't know anything about this business to come and do their own thing or come and put some bylaw or whatever for us. But they should do it together with us so that they will show them the way, the problems and other things, how we can all help to enhance this business to bring a lot of profit to the country. Okay. Yeah.
Before we go into some of the problems or challenges you are facing as an association, the people, Ghanaians, there's been this diverse conversation about the Okada riding in town, that most of the Okada riders, they don't ride safely. There's been complaints about how they are reckless on the road, excuse my language and all that, and violate the road regulations. What do you say about this complaint?
Okay, thank you so much. I think this is something that we have defended all the time that we had opportunity, and this is the case that we don't go through any training because they say it's illegal. Okay, that when you check about the illegality about it, even the law says it's manual offense.
Okay.
Sir, please, are you with me?
Yes, please, I do.
We don't go through any training. There is no regulation.
Okay.
There is nothing governing us. When you are on the edge of the road, the driver says that is not where you are supposed to park.
Okay.
When you go to the middle, they say no, that is not. So even as it stands right now, we don't know where Okada or motor riders have to use when it comes to the road using and whatever.
Okay.
Having said that, before anytime there's this traffic issue and all that,
yeah,
we always stop and observe the traffic regulation. But something happened along the line, and we complain that to the IGP, Honorable Dampari. I will salute that man any day, anytime they had opportunity to address this issue.
Okay.
When you stop to observe the traffic light,
yeah,
then you see these police officers who always stood or that normally guard the traffic, whatever. They'll come and quench your fire, ask you to park, and that your whole day will be something else. They'll mess up with your whole day.
Wow.
At the end of the day, you have to pay some money before they release you. So it came to a point, most of the members realized that, okay, if I will stop and then this will happen to me, without you knowing what I'm going, you don't know what is chasing me that money, you don't know my agenda and what, then I'll cross, whatever happened will happen. But ever since Dr. Dampari came out and then warned his voice that he don't want to see that thing happen and all that, today you can take your camera around.
Oh, okay.
Even though the declaration have not even been done and whatever, you can take your camera around and you confirm that we are observing the traffic regulations and all that.
Okay.
So our problem was like there is nothing in place, there is no law, there's nothing. They say we are doing illegal business and all that. So we are with the law is in our life. Is that we are taking our destiny is in our own hand. Okay. Whatever we will do and all that. But now that they are coming to regulate it and legalize it, the laws that will ban it, the law that will be in place and all that. If you violate the law will deal with you.
Okay.
So I think it will rather add more. I don't know how to put it. It will rather
more
add
safety.
That more safety to the business that it was or it is now.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so since you are the president for the Okada riders and it is in the process to be legalized in the country, and you mentioned that there hasn't been any training as to the road signs and then the traffic lights and all that, just as we have the driving school where people go to driving school to learn about driving, as the president, do you have any measures or any program or workshop in place for this Okada riders if it's been legalized?
Yes, we have a lot. As some years back, I think about 3 or 4 years ago, DVLA came out that they are looking for instructors that will train them. Do you know that as it stands right now, DVLA don't have any criteria that they train or that they issue motor license A? No, they don't have any criteria. You just go and then they give it to you. It's not unless like this driving thing, you have to go to driving school, you have to go to driving test and those things. DVLA doesn't have any criteria like that.
Okay.
So it came to a point they have this instructors training, of which we have responded most of our executives to be part of those training.
Okay.
We are only waiting for them to give us a certificate so that we can have a whole institution of that.
So that you can train
our people.
Yeah,
anybody that obtains certificate and all that, the person will go through those instructors. Okay.
Yeah.
To acquire the knowledge that DVLA have imparts in those instructors. So now we don't know if the new administration, I believe, to do that, the new DVLA boss will make sure that they have delivered, or they'll make sure that they put those things in place and all that. Or even if they have to call everybody who was involved for refreshing of this in the training again, and then give them the certificate that we are waiting for. And I believe that when that thing is in place, it will add a lot of value for what we are all expecting.
Okay.
Madam, having said that, the neighbor countries like Nigeria, what's the name, Togo, Benin, Ivory Coast, and other developing countries and all that, this business is fetching the government a lot of revenue. And we don't know what is happening in this country. We don't know why this thing is becoming like a nightmare or whatever for the government and all that. But we are believing that this government, as they started, this is that within the third month of their whatever, they are promising that this is what they are going to do. We are having more courage in them that this time they'll practice what the neighbor countries are doing, and they'll do it in a better manner that will profit or that will help all of us, because it's very hard today, even in the rural areas. That you get that somebody went and approve somebody's cassava in a manner of maybe stealing or whatever, or somebody will go to the news site and go and load somebody's blog of material that he's stealing it, a young man, and then he will be manhandled and all that. No. When the person had access to motorbike at the close of the day, he will get something for some. So today when you go to the court, it's not about stealing, it's not about robbing, it's about land litigation and other thing. You can check it, you are there. You are there. I hope I get it. So this is a very big thing that I think the government have to approach those of us who are fighting and doing everything possible that it should come to existence and all that. So I think it's in its place.
Okay. Yeah. Before we leave you to go, you mentioned that in countries like Nigeria, they are making the government is making some hefty revenues from the Okada business and all. In what ways do you think the Okada business can generate revenue to the government?
Okay, so one, the road toll is coming.
Okay.
As I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
As I'm talking to you, if I tell you the amount of money that the government is already making on our roadworthy.
As motor riders.
Okay. Yes.
Even when it hasn't been legalized
yet. Yes.
So
they register it for us. The registration, the roadworthy, insurance companies.
Okay.
Please, I hope I'm getting it. So
yes. But let me clarify something here.
Already. Yes.
If you go to register, do they register it for you as a business under a business licensing
or an individual?
Okay, this is a very good question, because we are deceiving ourselves that it is illegal.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. When you go there, nobody asks you what you are going to use it for. It's just that you bought a motorbike and you are coming to register it.
Yeah.
That is all. Knowing that means of transport in Ghana is not a crisis, it's not a big deal. But looking at the number of motorbikes being registered a day, it should tell you that then there's something new, something different happening or going on and all that. Meanwhile, a lot of companies are coming. I believe that you getting it.
Yeah.
So in the other side, the government is already benefiting from us. Police to arrest you if you don't have insurance. Police to arrest you if you don't have roadworthy.
Yeah. On one side, they are saying you are not legal. On the other side, they are making money out of you.
Billions of CDs. Yes, billions of CDs. Wow. You can even check from DVL. They'll tell the number of motorbikes they register within a month.
Okay, we will try.
Please, I hope they're getting it.
Yes,
please. And they can't say that it's only for this fathers or personal use and all that. No. As I'm talking to you right now, the membership is almost about 2 million. Please, are you with me?
Yes, please, I am.
Yes, the membership is close to 2 million.
Like 200 cities.
I'm talking about our membership.
Your membership as Okada riders?
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow.
That is why I'm telling you that you can check from DBLA. They will tell you the number of motorbikes they registered. That means the number of motorbikes they registered is more than 2 million. That is what they have in their registration.
Wow.
Yeah, because people have it, other institutions have it as dispatch riders and whatever. But I'm talking about our membership.
Your membership.
As I'm talking to you right now, I want to go to Supreme Court. We even have a branch there. We have people and Okada station there that operate every day and all that.
At the Supreme Court.
We have most of the lawyers, most of the judges that are customers. We have most of the police officers that don't want in hurry. I mean, not that we do most of the rounds for them and all that.
Wow.
Please, I hope that getting. So it's just that we are deceiving ourselves trying to pretend we don't know what is happening. And meanwhile, we are involved.
Okay.
Please, I hope that getting it.
Yes.
Okay.
So, I think we have deceived ourselves for a very long time. And this government is coming to make things clear for everybody to know where we really belong and where we are.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So if they are saying it's illegal and you are paying for registration fee, you are paying for licensing and roadworthy and all. How come we haven't heard of it, or we haven't seen the Okada riders going on any demonstration to for the government to be fair on their side? Because from what you are saying, I think the government has been unfair to you for a long time.
Yeah, I think that was about 4 months ago during the election. We wanted to do something. When we applied, when we wrote to the police, they said if we dare, because you can't do demonstration. There was a time we do a demonstration, let me tell you, because we did that and we don't know how the law, the law and those things are. So we got ourselves. By then, the presidency is at the old plaster, what's the name, castle, those 2 castles.
Yeah.
We were about 200 people when they said they abandoned Okada. So we went there to go and present our issue. At the first or second case, then we saw this police car coming with hot water. That is the day that we know that some of us, we are only good in how to bath in the bathhouse. Some people know how to swim. People jump into the sea and then interfere with the leadership. Yes, I'm telling you. But then our lawyer was the late Kojo, what's the name? Sedon. He was our lawyer. They were the people who were behind that. We should go and do that because it will cost a lot of things if they should ban the Okada. That was 2012, 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay.
And we were arrested. They sent us to Dansuma police station. This thing that I'm saying, most of the people who are listening to me, who know about this thing, they will testify that it is true. When we got to Dansuma police station, the late Kojo also was there. And they said we didn't commit any crime. They said we should have served a notice before they were allowed us to do that. And so that one was a signal to us that anytime because they say it is illegal, maybe the next time we see ourselves is in Shawom. So when we write to the police, we went to the regional commander. I think maybe he might be listening to me right now.
Yeah.
And he told us that we shouldn't dare because that what we want to do will be coming out with number of motorbikes that we have on the street of Accra. And he said no, that they will not allow us. He just said that we shouldn't dare. When the time was approaching he called me back again and said we shouldn't dare. Like you both have here from us, do a lot of demonstrations and other things. Yes. So there was a power preventing us from doing those things. That is why you didn't hear any demonstration or whatever.
So since the Okada business will finally be legalized, what assurance are you giving to the public or to the government that safety is assured? Because there has been rampant situation with cases with Okada accidents.
So the first assurance is now we'll see the differentiation between commercial motor riders and private motor riders, because this is the situation that anytime somebody uses motorbike to do a wrong thing, is an Okada rider. But if the person uses it to do the right thing, is a motor rider. The last time a motor rider crossed an arm robber, they saw a motor rider. They arrest another guy too who was with a woman part and whatever. They say he's an Okada rider because our number plate are same. So if the law permit us now we have to have a commercial plate for our motorbike. So when somebody uses motorbike for robbing, they will know that the number will determine whether it is for commercial or it's for private. That is one. When there is accident, this time the police will do the due diligence, not put the blame on us, because they will do all the necessary steps that they have to take and see where the fault or the mistake is coming from. Because all the time it is really that cause accident. I have a member who is now a cripple. He was pushed at Adenta police station because they were stopping him. They say he's also they pushed him. He fell into a gutter. Today he's a cripple.
Oh, who pushed him?
And a police officer. Madam, not only that one. Do you remember Achimota Highway? A police officer pushed Okada rider to fall and another car passed on him. I think about 4 years ago. A guy, a young man, he died like that. Please, are you with me?
Yes, please, I am.
Another guy parked just at the edge of the car, the road. A car from nowhere cleared him. And today he's also a cripple. Most of our people are disabled and other things. So in fact, I think it's going to do a lot of good to us. That now the law will recognize us and the law will speak and fight for us. That is one of the expectations that I want the people to expect. Then this issue of motorbike to rob and whatever. Now they know the real Okada riders, and if somebody whatever, because here in this country we see private cars that they used to do robbing and other thing. But it's the case that because the normal plate are saying you can't differentiate the one who is doing that, either it's an Okada or it's a private
one.
Whatever. So I think the time is due for us to know the true Okada riders, the private and all that, and it's going to add a lot of value to all of us as citizens and as nation as whole.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, madam. Thank you, madam. Thank you so much.
We will always call on you whenever there is the need to do so.
Yeah.
And we open our doors to you also, that whenever you need something being said to the nation or the public, you can always walk into our studios or call us to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So please let your what's the name? Your guy at the studio send me hi right now. We did a press release yesterday.
Okay.
So I can forward it to him, and then we also have a bit of it.
Okay.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
We'll do that.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much.
We salute your station and your listeners as well.
Sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that was the president of the Okada Riders Association, Mr. Michael Kofi Owusu, who kept calling me madam. I don't even know why, but that is just for another time. So he made some quite interesting points that the most interesting part is that they have close to about 2 million members.
Yes.
Wow, that is a huge figure.
Yes,
2 million members.
Yes. And that's a lot of revenue for the government.
A whole lot. I now understand why he was saying that it will be a lucrative revenue stream for the government if they should really look into legalizing it.
Of course. As I was saying before he came.
Yeah, he came on the line.
Countries with failed transport system relies on Okadas.
Yeah.
Look at India.
Yeah.
Look at Nigeria.
Yeah.
All these countries have failed transport system, and Ghana is on its way to join them.
You think we are not already a part of them?
I feel
we are ready, but we are getting to the level of its peak. You get it? Okay. Because if you look at our country settings, building a train carriage from this area to Accra would ease the traffic significantly.
Easily.
But we are not doing it. So it is now in the hands of the private people to find ways and means to transport themselves to work, and people will now also see it as a business opportunity.
Sure.
Which is why the Okada people are trying to exploit. It's already here. We are already in it. But so how do we regulate it? He said that they go to the DVLA. They charge them for roadworthy, they charge them for licensing and all that. But one point he refused to acknowledge is that motorbikes are not illegal in Ghana. They are not illegal. You can buy a motorbike, I can buy a motorbike, she can buy a motorbike. They are not illegal.
Okay.
What is illegal as we speak is using it for commercial purpose, as in carrying somebody. So that is what is that is what is illegal. Even the aspect of using it as a career service, transporting things, delivering things. That one is not in the law whether it's legal or not. You get it? So I understand and I appreciate the fact that we need to take a holistic approach to this whole thing, and then see how we can legalize it and make it efficient and effective. Because at the end of the day, if we legalize Okada and then something happens, we can identify the specific Okada. That did it. For instance, if a car crashes or if there's a hit and run and you are able to pick the car number, when you go to the DVLA, they will tell you who owns the car, and the owner can now tell you who was driving the car at what time. So if we are to do that for the Okada people, I think it's going to help us. But one thing that we are glossing over is our punishment regime for road traffic accident. if you go to Kenya, if you conduct or if you commit a road offense, you know how much you are paying.
No.
In Kenya, you know how much you're paying.
Okay.
So that
it's not the same.
No.
Yeah.
So the policeman's discretion, he will decide to charge you, and that money doesn't even go to the government.
Wow.
Yeah.
That money goes into
his
own pocket. So we should also sit down and analyze our punishment regime for traffic offenses.
Yeah.
So if I commit a traffic offense with my Okada, I'm paying 100 cedis.
Sure.
So if the policeman is charging you 200 cedis, you say, okay, why don't I just go to the traffic court, pay my 100 cedis, take my receipt. At least that 100 cedis can go into building the road for me. That 100 cedis can go into building proper health care for me if I get an accident. But here is it, we have the case that in Ghana, we don't have that. Even if you protest with the police officer and he takes you to court, the discretion now lies within the bosom of the judge to charge you how much he thinks the offense you did cause. So instead of going through that long process to go to court, then let me just pay the policeman something and then have exactly. So we also need to look at all these things and take a holistic approach to this whole thing. Okada, I would say it's bad, but where our country has gotten to, I think we need to regularize it, legalize it, and make it effective and efficient.
Because the funny thing, you even said that if you go to the Supreme Court, they have Okada station there.
Of course.
But the laws are frowning against Okada business.
Sometimes I use Okada myself. I remember last Monday. It's a funny something. I had an appointment. And then it was supposed to start at 10. But I had other rounds I had to do in the morning. So I got to Circle and I was a little bit late. So I had to take Okada. So I told him that, I beg, I'm in a hurry, but please take me there safely.
That's an interesting Yesterday something happened. I nearly took a video of it, but the traffic light, so I had to. I saw a policeman stopping on Okada, got on it,
and you also
even sometimes the policemen use the Okada to chase taxi drivers who have committed traffic offense.
So you see, it's actually becoming a necessity. Legalizing it will be in favor of both the riders and the citizens as a whole, and the government is definitely going to make some revenue out of it. So
but one point is that the government must do a broader stakeholders engagement. See, these Okada people, some drivers also feel that Okada people are taking their businesses. I remember some years back when I moved to Accra for the first time, I was staying at Kaswa, and now I was commuting to work in Accra every day. And then one day we closed from work and I sat in a trotro going to Kaswa. So there was this gap between our trotro bus and another trotro car. And then Okada rider tried to use that gap between us, and our driver hit him. When we asked him why he did that, he said, "Wamoji ejuma." Yes, so that was somewhere around 2012. Yes, 2012.
Wow. Okada has been in the loop for
a very long time.
For a very long time.
Okada has been here for a very long time.
No wonder they have close to about 2 million people.
Of course, and the unemployment rate in Ghana is forcing the youth into a whole lot of things. You get it? I know how to ride a motorbike. I've been riding a motorbike since I was a child. I'm a northerner, so you can understand. And if I didn't have anything doing, I have a family. I have family to feed. I have people who that depends on me. So if I didn't have anything to do, at the end of the day,
you know how to ride.
I know how to ride.
So
I'll definitely ask. My I love you call him my boss, Pakosi, to buy me a motorbike
for
to use.
Business,
You get it? So we must tackle this thing from numerous angles.
So many angles.
we need to find these Okada riders jobs to do if we don't like them doing Okada.
Sure.
If we want them to do Okada, let's legalize it, regularize it, put laws that will benefit the Okada riders, their passengers, and other road users.
Yeah.
Because the example I cited by saying a driver hit Okada rider, it was the mindset of the driver that or Juma. The person who is sitting on the motorbike is not going where you are going.
Even going.
So we need to do a whole lot of things: education, public education, getting the buy-in of the citizens to understand that this is here to stay. How do we coexist with them?
Okay.
I hope you get my point.
That's a great point. That's a great point. Yeah. So, but I'm just hoping that the government actually proceeds with whatever needs to be done to regulate them as soon as possible.
Of course, they should.
We will be looking at some interesting stories today. There's been an NSS scandal. Some ghost names that we all thought were no more in the system, based on some assurances we got from the previous government, and specifically the vice president then, with the introduction of Ghana card, eliminating ghost names and all that. It is quite alarming that we still have the canker of ghost names eating into our public purse. We will be also looking at the ECG under declaring their revenue. That's something. Corruption, did your money move out? Seriously. And our own former finance minister being declared a fugitive in a wanted man.
Why a wanted?
And I'm sure he can find comfort in his Bible quotations.
I saw that.
That is quite me
again. in his white attire.
Yes.
And then the 2025 independence celebration. The presidency is giving a directive of how it's going to be celebrated, based on some cost that needs to be cut and all that stuff. You are still tuning in with us on Ghana Talks Radio. There's Ghana Talks Breakfast Show. You can join the conversation on all our social media platforms at Ghana Talks Radio on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok. You can also join through our website www.GhanaTalksRadio.com, or you can join through our WhatsApp lines. Our WhatsApp line is 0202-544-614. 0202-544-614. Leave your comments, your view, your suggestion on our platforms, and we will interact with you. To the story, NSS scandal.
You see, there are things that shouldn't be a problem. But because the politicians that are supposed to fix these things benefits from that same thing, they are reluctant in fixing it.
To fix it.
Okay. Wow. See, we say there are ghost names on the NSS list, right? Do you think the NSS secretariat, the people who are there, they are the only beneficiaries of this thing? They are not. You know why I'm saying they are not?
You think the chain is?
It's quite long.
Okay.
See, these people were appointed by political authorities.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, these political authorities will use monies for campaign to appoint you. So when they appoint you, you must contribute to either paying for the cost of the campaign that brought you there, or contribute towards the next campaign that is going to guarantee your stay.
Wow.
And how much is your salary? Your family depends on that, you depend on that. So now they cook schemes that will give them money to sustain their political campaigns. So most of these monies from the NSS goes to the political appointing authorities. for their campaigns. But you see, in every problem, there's a solution.
Yeah.
And the solution is normally so obvious that if the people in power refuse to solve the issues, then the people would come to the realization that they are doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
Okay. Who do we employ or get to do the NSS? People who just completed from universities and tertiary educations, right?
Yeah.
Don't we know the number of tertiary educations in educational systems?
We do.
Can't we find out the number of students that graduate from there every year? If we can't we find out the number of people who does the NSS right after graduation, or the people who wait a year or two to do it? We can. So even having the NSS as an institution, independent institution alone, is wrong.
Yeah.
We should find a way and put it under Ghana Education Service. We should find a way and put it under Ghana Education Service.
Okay.
So that they should have the secretariat in the Ghana Education Service. So if, for instance, Legon have 1,000 students graduating, Ghana Education Service no.
Yeah.
If Ashasi University has 500
people,
Ghana Education knows. At the end of the day, when they are about graduating, forms should be sent to them in their schools while they are still in school to fill
whether they are going to partake in
or not.
Service.
Service or not.
Yeah.
But I think that is done online.
And doing it online should even make it easier.
And now we are finding a way to complicate the online thing.
Wow.
We are finding ways to complicate the online thing, because if every student is admitted, what do we get? Admission letter.
Yeah.
Yes.
How do we get the NSS system to ask for the admission letter of the person registering? Because when you go to University of Ghana, they should have a database of every student they have admitted since time in memorial. They should have their index numbers and all that in the system. So if we are willing to deal with this canker, I think that we should, as a matter of urgency,
it really needs
attend to or synchronize the universities into the Ghana and National Service scheme. We cannot just leave them independent, and anytime anybody feels like going there to register, he goes there to register. You get it? For instance, let me just chip this in. Have you seen Senate?
Yeah.
Normally, it is your employee who is supposed to send a letter to Senate and tell them that I have employed so and so person. But now they've come up with a scheme that an individual can also work there with their appointment letter. You see, you're going to make the whole system not efficient, because people will now come in with all sorts of information. For instance, if I graduate from a university, what is my business going to National Service to register? It doesn't make any sense. The National Service scheme should know the number of people graduating and the number of people willing to do the National Service even before it starts. I don't have to go there to register. I just have to sit in my house and get a text message. You've been posted to this so and so company as your National Service for this period of months. That should be the end of it. If we are able to do this, we shouldn't have problems of ghost names. But if you don't do this, look, parties will come and go. People will come and go. We will have these problems. Our kids, our grandkids will come and be talking about these same problems that we are talking about. Because this thing is not today. It happened. I think we had this same discussion went on in 2016, 2017. When people said there were ghost names. Yes. Why are we still having that same conversation 8 years down the line?
You see, last year, somewhere around March, about this issue came up, and the NSS, which is now the NSC, came out to debunk it. That this is not true.
They even went to court to stop the expose, the
fourth estate
from airing.
Sure.
Does that make any sense?
Sure.
You work for us.
Yeah.
We the people. You work for us. And there's something going on in there we've investigated, and we want the people to know. And you go to court, and then the court grants an injunction banning the person who did the investigation not to air it until elections are over. Are you there because of elections? You are not there because of elections. You are there to serve us.
To serve us, yeah.
So whatever is going to happen in the next few days shouldn't have mattered to the court, but they granted them.
Which judge actually did that?
I don't know.
As a judge,
I don't know.
At the Supreme Court.
No, I think it was the High Court.
High Court.
Yes, it wasn't the Supreme Court.
But whichever court you are, which serves the state, the sanity of the state, someone comes with such an application to grant them injunction over an expose against them, and you give it to them.
Yes.
A state institution, for crying out loud.
Yes. You see, our legal system makes it easy to get away with crime.
Yeah.
You see, at that time it was during we were getting ready for an election.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then the people, since they are politically exposed people, they felt that if the expose comes up around that time, it will dent their political campaign. They goes and the judge agrees with them.
The judge. My problem.
Do you know the excuse? Do you know the excuse they made?
No.
The excuse was that they were unavailable to answer the questions Fourth Estate was going to try to ask them. So the court should grant them the injunction so that they can go and answer at their own, and when they are ready.
Then the fourth estate say the expose is going to demand some answers from them.
No, because they wrote to them with their findings, asking them for a rebuttal.
Okay.
So their inability to provide the rebuttal, Fourth Estate said that they are going to go ahead and publish whatever they found, and they also disagreed and said that they have to make an input. But the issue is that Fourth Estates don't owe anybody any input. They can put out whatever they done, and if you want to rebut, you can rebut wherever you want to, whether in the court, whether in the media, wherever.
Yeah.
But here's the case that the court agreed with them. I wouldn't even mention the judge. I'll say the court agreed with them, so I don't get any issue with the judge. The court agreed with them and then granted their injunction, which I feel, in my opinion, I feel that it was wrong. It was wrong. At least they should have allowed them to air the expose. If they find something defamatory, they go to court and sue. You have that legal right as a Ghanaian to sue if you feel you've been defamed or whatever. But well, we are in Ghana. It is possible, as they say. So anything is possible.
As you said, that's not the first time this thing is happening. We always get news and breakings of this scandal here and there, and especially in the NSS or NSA issues. Do you think, as a country, as a nation, and as government, we've tackled this issue the right way?
Of course, we haven't. If we had, we wouldn't be having the problem.
The problem here.
For it to be reoccurring all the time.
If we had, we wouldn't be having this problem now. We are having this problem today because since time immemorial, we've not put in place measures. You see, we should know the number of children. As the nation, the nation should know the number of children that will be given birth today. We should know when they started school. We should know the number of people who died. We should know when they will complete JSS. We should know when they will complete SHS. We should know when they are going to the university. We should know when they complete university. we don't have that database. Now it is up to you, the individual. If you give birth, do I even need a birth certificate? No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to get a passport. Let me go get a birth certificate. So the government itself doesn't even have the database for the number of children that the parents are producing, or the
particular time.
Exactly. But if we have a system that as soon as you give birth, the child is registered, it goes straight into the system.
Sure.
We can avert all these things because we know the name. If the child changes his name along the line, it is captured in the system. So you can know that the big Stephen is a real human being.
Yeah.
But today we don't have that system. So the big Stephen can be a real human being and at the same time not a human being at all. So anybody can write any name, add any number to it, and then say it is a person in the system. But if we have a basic system that captures our details right from childbirth, so when you complete school, I think some of these problems will be averted.
So, in your own discretion, what do you think should be done to curb this particular instances of
how best can they rectify this?
People should be punished.
Wow.
Anybody who sat down aloof, who partook in this scandal, should be punished.
Sure.
We cannot have the political elite protecting each other.
Do you think that's what is?
Yes, because if it happened in 2016 and nobody was prosecuted for it, what justification will you have to prosecute somebody in 2024? If it happened in 2016, prosecute the person. If it is happening in 2024, prosecute the person. If you are pointing me to the place, I'll have it at the back of my mind that Miss Owari was punished for this, Miss this was punished for that, Mr. this was punished for this, so and this I'm not going to do.
Yeah.
But we've I think that when you get to the Ofuriata matter, this thing will come up. The political elites have started a campaign that they should protect each other. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. So, buy and cash. And I my you mean you have then see jai it condones it. It gives people the impetus to continue to do these things with impunity, without recourse to the people that they are serving. Imagine the money that goes into these fake people, or sent to my hometown, Bonkurugu, to build a school, to build a borehole, to dig a dam for farmers. But here is the case: we cannot even trace where the money has gone. If we want to curb this thing too, we can. They registered these things with bank accounts. The money goes into bank accounts, and there's a paper trail for every bank account, so we know who withdraws the money from the bank account. You cannot go to the bank account with a fake ID. You get it? You have to go there with an ID. And if you say that this person, a ghost, is opening a bank account, what documentation do you have to prove that the ghost really exists? So at the end of the day, person behind the ghost names will use his own bank account to take the money. So if we are to trace, we can find the perpetrators of these things. But it boils down to the political will. Are they willing to even trace it at the first, in the first instance?
Well, there's been a directive by the president for the BNI, NIB, to investigations into this. You see, and we always hear this. Investigate. Nothing comes out.
I said I saw a video yesterday.
Yeah.
The people say they are tired of the investigation.
We are.
Those people like this, you should catch them and beat them. But
you see, Dubik, it's true. We need people punished. The investigations, we are doing this, we are tracing the adults. We need people being punished.
Of course.
Yeah, we really need people being punished.
As long as they are milking from the state, I think they should be punished.
Well,
You see, we operate a system that condones crime.
why do you say so?
Okay. Right now, if I slap you and I go out there, you are angry, you are going to report me to the police. I go out there, I find Pakwasi, who is your boss. You know, Pakwasi and I go way long.
Way back.
Yeah, okay. So he comes and then tells you, oh, me have a channel or me and fine cover. Why? Won't you forgive us?
I mean, you know, my boss.
Yeah.
You're talking to me about. I get you.
There are people in this country
Yeah.
who have committed crimes, and when they are in the process of being prosecuted, their hometown chiefs will go to the prosecuting officials to beg on their behalf.
It doesn't help.
Pastors will follow their church members to go and beg. You know, there's a particular company in this country, I wouldn't mention their name.
Okay.
It is headed by one big church elder, and sometimes the chairman of the church can tell government, please give our church members company contract. Yes, I think you know what I'm saying. you know, I'm even a member of that church.
Hey.
I'm even a member of that church, and the amazing thing is that when the company takes the money from the government, they pay their workers
Peanuts.
You know what I'm saying? So
I mean,
I wouldn't continue. It's fine. And sometimes the job that they even take, they say they are going to do, they don't do.
I wish I knew this company.
I'll tell you off air. I don't want any court issues.
But you see, honestly, we have gotten to a place where these things, these Jaimenko, that sympathy, let's temper justice with mercy.
Jaimenko doesn't exist in America.
It shouldn't exist in any public office or officiating.
Donald Trump
was
asked by a state, not the federal government, a state, to come and answer for his crime, and he went.
Exactly.
Can that happen in Ghana? No.
Well, yesterday, moving on to the next topic, we've seen our former finance minister being declared a wanted man,
A fugitive.
He is needed by the state to answer some questions regarding some financial misconduct that when he was in power, he officiated. What do you make of that?
Well, it's the step in the right direction, but I think that it's been long overdue.
It's been long overdue.
Yes, this thing should have happened somewhere in 2024, 2023.
Why?
Because we all know what the man had done. Didn't Parliament institute an inquiry into the Kachiria thing that he went there to answer questions for? There's a contingency fund which is backed by law. This man created a contingency vote and used that money to support the Kachidra. That is when he should have been made to resign and the prosecuted right and then. But we sat down, waited for the government to change hands. Now anybody can say it's political witch hunt.
But do you think it's political witch hunt?
No, I don't think it is political witch hunt.
Okay.
Because according to the OSP, he said investigation started long ago.
Okay.
It didn't start just yesterday.
Okay.
But that also begs to ask the question that why wasn't he invited in? Why wasn't he arrested during those times?
Yeah.
You see, if the OSP had arrested him, sent him to court, asked the court for time to do further investigation, do you know what the court would have done? The court would have given him a bail.
Okay.
And determined whether the man is a flight risk or not. If he was a flight risk, his passport would have been seized.
Okay.
If his passport had been seized, do you think he would have traveled?
No, I don't think so.
And there's another school of thought saying that the OSP needed a court order and all that. I employ people to read the OSP Act, the act that establishes the OSP. He doesn't need any court order.
Okay. So he is an independent
exactly.
judicial body.
He can arrest anybody he feels is committing a crime.
Okay. So what took him so long?
That's the question.
Was it that his investigations weren't evidential enough to make an arrest, or was it people are saying yesterday after he released that press statement, people are saying that okay, so this man really wanted to work, but it seems the previous government wasn't giving him that space to operate.
Do you remember why Martin Amidu resigned?
Why did he resign?
He resigned because of PDS. Okay.
Do
you know Martin Amidu wrote a report and said that when he wanted to investigate the PDS, the president then asked him to speak to Kenny Ofori-Atta, the finance minister then. And Kenny Ofori-Atta came to his house at dawn, at midnight, to admonish him to drop the investigations and let the thing go through. You remember all this? So based on this, if somebody says that the OSP couldn't arrest him or couldn't do a proper investigation because the government wouldn't have allowed him, I tend to agree, because the evidence from the past is there. Martin Amidu said it and nobody came out to debunk it. If Martin Amidu had lied, the government had every right to call him to any court in Ghana and ask him to prove what he's saying, but the government didn't. If the government did it, so if I wake up every day and I call you a thief, you don't say anything. I call you a thief, you don't say anything. A day will come that I won't have to call you a thief. Somebody else will call you a thief because I call you a thief and you don't say anything.
Yeah.
So if the OSP wasn't allowed to do its work, or was allowed to do its work, and it was just a lackadaisical attitude of the OSP which resulted in all this, the government should have been out there to tell us that no, we are not preventing him from doing his job. It's him who is not doing his job.
Okay.
You get it? But we've allowed that to foster forward, and then it has become endemic in people's head. So now everybody can say the government was preventing the OSP from doing its work. We are in this country, a country where the government cannot prosecute their own appointees. Does that make any sense?
But why is that? Because honestly, it's been said or known by fact and evidence that the current administration, the current president, in his previous administration actually prosecuted some members of his own people.
Abu Gapele was John Mohammed's friend.
Sure.
They all entered parliament the same year, but he prosecuted him. You know, if you go to Singapore today, Singapore is an envy of a lot of countries. The president who initiated that change prosecuted his own best man.
Wow.
When the best man realized that he couldn't stand the prosecution, he hanged himself and died. Yes.
Why do you think that has become a thing?
We don't appoint competent people. We appoint loyal people.
That is deep.
So you know why? If you are competent, I don't care whether you are my friend or not, but I would appoint a loyal person who is my friend. Because if you're not my friend, you cannot be loyal. You have to be my friend to be loyal to my cause. So if I appoint you as a friend, a loyal person, do you think I can look in your face and then send you to Nsawam?
No.
I can't. So instead of appointing people who have the technical expertise and then telling ourselves that I don't know this man, I don't owe this guy any allegiance, I don't owe this man any loyalty, hence if he commits a crime, I'm going to prosecute him. We overlook that and appoint people who can shout the loudest on campaign platform, people who can insult, we appoint them, and when they come and mess things up, when we are supposed to prosecute them, we go like, hey, and you do big pa, go so see it in command we knew.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
And you do big pa. I say me call and come watch you. So you cannot prosecute them. So we find a way to whitewash them. So imagine Cecilia Dapa.
Yeah.
When her issues came
up.
Do you remember the letter the then president wrote to him?
Sure.
He used my dear Cecilia Dapa.
Yeah. I think it was out of that he was tagged the clearing agent.
Yes.
Yes.
He was tagged my dear Cecilia Dapa. My dear Cecilia. So can you look at your dear Cecilia Dapa and prosecute her? No.
That's a big question, yeah.
So we will find ways and whitewash my dear Cecilia Dapa, and he will come out squeaky clean. And the next day he'll be contesting for another public office.
What do you expect of this new dispensation of administration that when it comes to some of these corrupt acts and scandals that are being highlighted now?
Prosecute. Don't shield anybody. Name them. Tell the people what they have done. Don't put the what do you call it, the documents out in the public.
Okay.
You see, when the documents of their crime are out in the public, nobody will form friends of so and so. Free so and so won't be there. Because imagine that if Ken Oforiatta had misappropriated all these funds and the documents are made public, this money was here, this money was here, but it's not there any longer, who would go there and be demonstrating to free him?
That's true.
But here's the case that we do our investigations, we do it in secrecy.
So you believe that everything should be out in the open?
Yes. I'm not part of the school of thought which says that investigations should be done in the quiet. If I'm investigating you, I must let you know I'm investigating you.
Okay.
So I must tell you stole my laptop and that is why I'm investigating you. Even if you steal my laptop and you put it in this studio and I tell you that, oh, police is coming to search your studio, you make an attempt to move the laptop, right? I can be standing at the gates there and I see you carrying the laptop out. Just to cover your tracks.
Sure.
So we must be smart with these kind of things.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it is the public that these political leaders are serving. Do you think it was out of nothing that we passed the Right to Information Bill?
No, it wasn't.
But as we speak now, there are things that if you write asking about, they tell you because of national security issues.
Yeah, we can't release this information to you.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. So what is the essence of that right?
Exactly. So we should make everything public. Everything should be out there in the open.
But yesterday the minority in Parliament was very angry and about the OSP's press release stating that no public official or former public official should be subjected to the way that the former finance minister was subjected to in his press statement. What do you make of that?
You see, even the police can declare people wanted. How much more the OSP? Ghana police publish people's pictures on social media all the time. Wanted person. You see, Oforiatta has moved from being a person of interest. He's now a suspect. Oforiatta is now a suspect. So are you telling me that are they telling us that the OSP don't have a right to declare a suspect wanted? When the police or the OSP invite a suspect, it can be two things. It can be to charge the suspect with a crime, or to take a cautionary statement from him. So in any of these two instances, if you choose not to come, the OSP have every right to issue the statement they did yesterday, regardless of who you are.
Okay.
The FBI declares people wanted all the time. If you go to America, they have the FBI most wanted list.
Yeah.
Do we hear the minority or whoever in the US Senate complaining about it? No.
So in all these regards, you believe that the political class are a huge part of all these things, because looking at the statements by the minority caucus in Parliament yesterday, I mean, this is an issue that ought to be of national interest to each and everyone, regardless of which party you serve or where you are.
See, it takes me back to the point that the political elite, both parties, now are trying to say that we should have each other's back. The day that happens is the day our democracy ends.
And I'm very glad that you brought that up, because I read the majority leaders Ayaraga's statement condemning that particular outcome, because as you were saying, it will really bring chaos to our democracy.
Exactly. If somebody commits a crime and I say because he's affiliated to the NDC, I'm MPP, if I'm to arrest him or prosecute him, it will put the political elite in bad light. What justification do I have to go arrest somebody who stole cassava? You get it?
Yeah, I do.
Crime is a crime.
Crime is a crime.
You shouldn't try to give crime a political coloration where you feel NDC ni into why born MPP for about watching political people or many people as anti no, it should be open, regardless of your political party, whoever you serve. Once you commit a crime, once we suspect you've committed a crime, you must be charged, prosecuted. It even clears your own image.
Sure.
Just imagine that Kenneth Rata is working there. Nobody has invited him. There's still a perception that Kenneth Rata has made money out of the position that he got. Because when Cecilia the Park case came up, people said, hey, sanitation minister Mponye, not finance minister. So it is in his own interest to come down here, write his statement. If they are charging him to court, they should charge him to court. Then he should fight his innocence in court. It doesn't serve him right to have the public opinion about him being corrupt person. Imagine what that happens to his children. A day will come, if Ken Oforiatta's great grandchild come to your company to apply for a job, you might not give it because of the perception you had about his grandfather.
Okay, that's true.
You see, people say that Ghanaians don't like the Akufo-Addo family. It didn't start today. It started from Akufo-Addo's grandfather, his father. It is a perception that has been in Ghanaians' head up till today. So at that time, if they had purged themselves off that perception, they would have been good right now.
Okay.
But since that perception was left unpurged, left unchecked, it has been there, and now Akufo-Addo has suffered the consequences.
So wrapping up on this whole Oforiatta issue, what is your final?
Okay, I feel that we should calm down, allow the OSP to do his job.
Okay.
And I feel that if Ken Oforiatta is not ready, if he's really sick, the OSP should also take an initiative and find out if he's really sick. What arrangement can be made in the short term to make sure that his human right is not violated. In as much as we are accusing him of a crime, he has the right to health care. That is his fundamental human right. Nobody can take that from Oforiatta. Even if he was jailed and he fell sick, we will still treat him. So we all know where he is. He wrote back to the OSP telling that he was in the US trying to get me. The OSP can put a team together. If it is just a statement they are going to take, they can go to him in the US, take the statement. If they come back and they realize that he has committed a crime that he needs to stand trial for, they can bring him back to stand trial for his crimes.
I think someone actually said something very interesting about this whole statement that you are making. He was like, we were in this country when a sick person was brought to the parliament to pass e-levy.
E-levy,
Yeah.
exactly.
So how much more you who have caused financial
Loss to the state.
To the state.
If you are sick, come down
Down
and
here.
answer
Exactly.
for your crimes.
And I know that they chartered what do you call it, private jet for Adwoa Safo to come down.
Down.
So they can
Yeah.
charter that same private jet for
Yeah.
Oforiatta to also come
To come in.
and answer for his crime.
Yeah.
Wow. That-
If indeed he has committed any
Yes,
crime.
yeah.
But there has been some comments that the OSP could have still went ahead with the investigation even in his absence.
Okay, so let me ask them: if I steal your cassava and run away, and you go and tell the police that I've stolen your cassava, how do the police conduct the investigation without me? First, they will go to the place I stole the cassava to ascertain that indeed the cassava has been stolen. The next action is that I have to come and say that I'm not the one or I'm the one who took it. So how do the OSP conduct the investigation without Ken Oforiatta's input?
So definitely we will need his presence.
Yes, of course. I also made reference to Ken Oforiatta has moved from being a person of interest to a suspect now.
Yeah.
So if he was just a person of interest, they could have done their investigations around him or without him. You get it?
Yeah.
But now he's a suspect.
Okay.
So he also need to be granted a fair hearing. He also need to say his side of the story.
Yeah.
And the OSP can now juxtapose his side of the story to the fact and see that, okay, if I take these issues to court, I can win or I'm going to lose.
Okay.
What we are forgetting is that he's not in court yet though.
Yeah.
So nobody owes him a fair trial because he's not even on trial yet.
Okay.
So what he owes us now his side of the story. Now we will determine that we should go to trial based on his testimony or not. So that is all what we are asking Ken Oforiatta to come and do. Come and present your side of the story.
Come and present your side of the story, said by Stephen Dubik in the Ghana Talks radio studios. This is Ghana Talks breakfast show, and you are still tuned in. You can join the conversation, as I said earlier, on all our social media platforms, on X, on Instagram, on Facebook, and on TikTok at Ghana Talks Radio. Or you can join us through our WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp line is 0202544614. 0202544614. Now, there was an audit into ECG's yearly revenue, and that audit came out with some revelations that has sparked public unrest. According to the audit, ECG actually underdeclared the revenue they made by a whooping 5.1 billion Ghana cedis.
Yes.
That's a lot.
That is a lot.
Yes, it is.
Now, we are in a country where one of our biggest challenges right now is the energy sector. Our lights, our even yesterday, people slept in doing so.
Yes, of
Yes.
course. Of course.
Now, people are actually battling with this energy crisis.
Yeah.
We've seen or heard issues about the states or the energy sector not being able to settle their debts to IPPs. Yet, this is a story, a revelation, telling us that, in fact, there were some monies which could have been used to settle all these debts, but was hidden or taken by someone somewhere without the state's involvement.
Okay.
Stephen.
Okay. Let me purge myself of this. My surname is Dubik.
Dubik.
The former ECG director. His name is Dubik. We are cousins.
Oh!
It's a coincidence.
We are cousins. But trust me,
You'll be fair.
I'll be fair and objective.
Yeah.
So that somebody wouldn't sit somewhere and say that he's saying this because they share the same surname or they are cousins.
We are grateful as a media platform and even to our audience that you have assured us of some objectivity and fairness in your submission this morning. Yeah.
Okay. So the problem with ECG
Yeah.
goes way beyond just the ECG as an institution. ECG's core mandate as an institution is to distribute electricity and collect the money of the electricity they've distributed. Okay. This takes us back to Oforiatta. Oforiatta and the finance ministry gives a directive to ECG to procure fuel for IPPs.
Yeah.
It costs us $40 million every month. Every month to procure the fuel.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you think that money will come from?
It should be coming from the revenues that.
Okay. Will that be factored into the money that we say has been underdeclared?
Well,
because I'm asking this question because when you look at this whole audit came out of the price water mechanization fall or something, whatever they call it, that the ECG should have had one bank account where the money goes into, then is distributed across.
In fact, they were instructed to
do, but in the end they ended up having 99 bank accounts, which is untenable. You get it? So there's a fundamental problem with ECG. Let's not forget, ECG is not the only company that distributes power. If you go to the north, they don't know ECG. They know the VRA or the NETCO. But in this instance, ECG is made to carry much of the load because they serve the larger population. So if you sit down and analyze this thing properly, you see, when Ghana was being introduced to the mobile money, the mobile network space, we had only one touch. Only one touch. The monopoly in the market itself can be a problem sometimes. So when we opened it up and we had Ariba, Space Phone, Tigo, Bars, Zain, now it's right, Kasapa, all coming in, we were able to have a competitive market where now government decided that running Ghana Telecom was too expensive, so let's bring in Vodafone. So they sold 70% of Ghana Telecom to Vodafone and retain 30%. We can do that with ECG. You get it? We can do that with ECG, and the PDS model would have been the best if not for the corruption and all that. You get it? But the question I have to ask when it comes to this under declaration is that where did the money go?
Exactly.
Can they tell us where the money went?
Exactly.
If they can't, the people who supervise over that should be punished and made. It shouldn't just be about punishment. We should start retrieving these monies, because it doesn't serve me anything if somebody goes to Nsawam for a crime. He will come out at the end of his sentence, enjoy the money he stole.
Exactly, because this is
even if he goes there and then if he goes there and he ends up getting bad skin, he'll come back, use the money he stole, buy proper pomade, and get his skin back. What happens to me, the individual? People should be made to account for the officers we entrusted in them. They are holding it in trust for the people. I had the former the former managing director
for ECG.
Say that under declaration is not a crime. Yes, it is not a crime, but it becomes a crime when you cannot tell us where the money went and what you use the money for.
Yeah, because honestly, when we speak of revenue, it means that
everything had been taken out. It is the net.
That's it. That
is the revenue. So maintenance doesn't come in there.
Nah.
So you should be able to tell us that
yeah.
I had this amount of revenue.
Exactly.
I under declared and used this money to do this, to do that, to do this. You get it? But if you just come out and tell us that under declaration is not a crime, then I think that there's a problem that we need to look into and try and then solve it, because 5 billion is not easy money.
That's a lot of money.
5 billion is not easy money. As I'm sitting here, if you give me 5 billion, maybe you don't see me in Ghana. I'll go to some Bahamas and some place elsewhere to enjoy myself and then come back. By the time I come back, you have like 1 million left, 1 billion left. So
no, but I mean the rate at which we are losing money as a state, it's very alarming. Look at all these things and look at the things that we need to tackle. Just some few days ago, we saw students crossing river with no brakes to go and study. We've seen instances where schools are held. I mean, education is being held under trees. We've seen instances where there are some buildings of state institutions. Look at Kulebu.
Let me say something. You see, I grew up before democracy.
Yeah.
Okay. So I saw JJ when he was a military person. And I also saw what he did with the military. There was a bridge in the village, in the town I grew up. I won't call it a village. Goso.
Oh, okay.
That bridge was constructed by military people. They used that metal to construct it. We have Ghana Armed Forces. That is polarized by, what do you call it, protocol list. We don't even recruit the proper people.
Like
if we had engineers in the Ghana Armed Forces, these kind of walk path and bridges, they can just go there and fix it.
And I kudos to the defense minister, Honorable Manibwama. He actually sent some military engineers to go and construct.
Yes, that's the way forward. We cannot just sit back and everything we need to go through procurement and find people to come, and then it doesn't make any sense.
It is this chain of command that actually breeds most of this corruption. Procurement.
Exactly. So we have placed, what do you call it, bureaucratic channels which delay our progress to development. You see, this bridge wouldn't cost like 100,000 cedis.
It shouldn't.
No.
So why should a country like Ghana have a company like ECG under declaring 5 billion cedis? Then we go back and cry that we cannot construct a bridge that will cost us around 50,000 cedis. Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. It will never make sense to me. It doesn't.
So I think that instead of appointing political people, politically exposed people into these kind of positions, we should start looking at appointing technical people with expertise and competence.
I think that will actually be a whole conversation for that, because that is a great point that you've actually raised right now. Because the kind of people we appoint into offices raise a whole lot of questions. It seems that it's based on much more of loyalty or affiliation than competence.
Who served me best?
Exactly. So
who served me best?
We'll look at that particular discussion some other day. Now, wrapping up on our conversation this morning is the Independence celebration this year. The 2025 Independence Day celebration is going to be at the Jubilee House.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that. And I think that we can even cut it down more.
Oh, really?
Yes. You see?
Why do you say so?
I'm saying so because the independence celebration has now become avenue for corrupt politicians to milk the state. Go to the assemblies and let them tell you the budget they use in celebrating a day. Go to the presidency, ask them for what they use for the last year's independence celebration.
Yeah, I learned it was about 15 million.
Yeah, 15 million
for celebrating a day.
And that was celebrated in whole.
How much did Kwame Nkrumah himself use on the day we gained independence?
I'm not sure.
15 million. And also,
Kwame Nkrumah himself, how much did he use?
Look at the people you have to convey to the location.
Aside that, the party people, the politicians will now say, oh, may or interior decor, young man of contract, non code the creative.
That's true.
Now why will come? Let's give him money. Let's find ways to transport him and all that.
His people.
From the back of my party chairman better kakra. No a penny nipa bia o twitoro no asese o no de o mama. I think that we can even cut it down more. You see, independence celebration.
Yeah.
We already had the independence. It's not the seat of March 2025 that we're going to have the independence.
Yeah.
We've already had it. So you should just commemorate it. The president should just come. Give us a speech, public address, we are done.
Okay. But people are actually saying that it's some sort of a national ritual. So I mean, limiting it to just the Jubilee House is some sort of
when the time that we were making it broad, where district assemblies were also organizing their own. Is it everybody that went there? Can we say every Ghanaian partook in it?
No, we can't say.
No.
So why should we spend that huge amount to celebrate something that not all Ghanaians will benefit? So for instance, if we use the money that we are going to save out of this to do something productive that all Ghanaians will benefit, isn't that better than if we can say, okay, we can say that every year the budget that goes into our independence celebration should build one school.
Well, I think that would make sense. Just like we did with the VAT thing.
Exactly. The money that we would have used to do the fanfare, that it should build one school.
Fanfare.
So
it's true. It's a
from the beginning of the year, we know how much we are going to spend on the seat match, and we know how much it will cost to build one school. So at the end of the year, we inaugurate the school and say 2025 Independence Day school.
Wow, that's great.
So people would have substantial benefit
of
our independence. Like why do we even sit here and say we are independent? We are not though.
You think so?
Are we
not?
Okay, I didn't know. Why didn't we sign the anti-LGBT law if we are independent?
Oh, but I mean that I would say only needed some political will. So let's see.
Why didn't we get the political will?
If we didn't get a political will,
you remember?
It's because we are not independent yet.
You remember the letter the finance ministry wrote to Parliament, telling them that if we pass the bill, we are going to lose a certain amount of revenue.
See, we will come back to this discussion.
So now you understand that our independence is just on the paper. We cannot do what we want. So if just imagine that we have the gold, all right, but they come here, mine the gold, and give us royalties. Royalties. They're not even percentage of the actual gold they've mined, though. They are giving us royalties on the gold.
See, to my audience, on Seat Match, make a date with us. I am coming here with the Big Steven to discuss the independence of Ghana. Whether we are truly independent
we are not.
Or not. So, it has been a great show this morning. I've really enjoyed the conversation, the discussion, and I know as well our audience have done same. We will come your way same time tomorrow morning. Catch us from 7 a.m. where we bring you all the news by the Debbie's Corners, the newspaper review, and the breakfast show. So thank you once again for making time with us. Still getting with us on Ghana Talks Radio, on Instagram, on X, on Facebook, on TikTok, through our website www.ghanatalksradio.com. You can still interact with us on our WhatsApp line 0202544614. 0202544614. My name is Pakwesi Omare, and anchoring the show with me this morning was the beautiful Esinam and my able guest, Mr. Dubik Stephen, who will be coming our way most often from today. Thank you. Have a nice day.